H1 Unlimited. Hello, race fans. From Madison, Indiana, it's the site this weekend for the 75th Madison Regatta on the Ohio River. My name is Brad Luce. I am joined by Brent Hall down at the other end of the table. We've got H1 Unlimited's chief referee sitting beside me here. This is Jonathan Abbott. Fans, I know you have been anxiously awaiting some action on the Ohio River. We haven't been able to do it yet, but I think we're getting close. Jonathan's going to tell us about that. The weather's been beautiful. The water conditions look terrific. And Jonathan, let's just cut right to the chase. How come we haven't had boats on the water?
Unfortunately, the water levels have risen, and we have no space right now in the pits. It was a scramble this morning to get the cranes installed. They're half in the water, half on shore. It just took a real long time to get all the cranes into position. And then once everyone is in position, then it was to get all the boats in. And it's just been a mad scramble all morning and all afternoon also. And unfortunately, it's just time constraint. It hasn't been easy.
Yeah. And we still don't have all those boats in the pit area. But by saying that, that implies there are a couple of boats in the pit area. And we do have two of our H1 Unlimiteds back down toward the water. What's the situation there with the 27? And everybody wants to know about the U6, the Miss Madison.
So the U6, Miss Madison, and the U27 will be going out to do some testing laps. They've decided they want to go on the course. The Miss Madison needs to get qualified for tomorrow. And Dave Vilwock has never driven this boat, so he wants to get out on the course so he can get some laps into it. The other teams have opted out just because of the parade tonight. So because of the time that we're at right now, to get boats into the pits and to pull them back out for the parade tonight, teams have said it's not worth it. We're just going to stay up and then get ready for the parade. And we have the two boats that have decided that, no, we want to get out on the water before we go into this parade.
Brent Hall, you know a little bit about getting qualified as an unlimited driver. I don't think there's anybody in the history of our sport that ever came quite as close as you did.
One lap, come on.
Talk a little bit about that and what this Madison team wants to do.
Yeah, and just getting a chance to talk to them in Gunnersville, it sure was great to hear just the build-up. And even though they didn't do it in Gunnersville, you can feel the energy again today, and they're getting ready to do it. So I'm actually glad that they're going to have just two boats out here. Brandon can focus on getting as many laps as he can, and hopefully can knock out all 15 before we know it.
Well, Brandon Kennedy is also the Grand Marshal in the parade tonight.
He's busy.
Not only does he have to get those laps in, he's got to get them in, then get the boat out and get to the front of the parade. He's got a busy day.
Oh, most definitely. And Kyle's told me his cutoff is 4 o'clock and not a minute later because he needs to get back and ready for that parade.
He may lose a couple pounds. So I'm saying, that's a lot.
He's he's a terrific guy. I know you know him extremely well.
I've known him for quite a long time. I started my racing career. We were racing deck to deck in the T class, so we've been racing a long time.
Well, he's getting his opportunity and getting his chance, so good for him.
Yep.
You explained something to me before we came on the air, that as long as you're sitting here, there are no boats on the river. So I'm going to throw you out. I think we're done with you. How long? Great. Last question, how long do we have the water?
We have the water technically till 6 o'clock is what we've been told. But because of that parade, teams need to be off the water by 4 o'clock. So we got some wiggle room, but we got enough time to try and get as many boats, or the two boats that we have, to try and get as many laps in as we can.
Hey, Brad, before you let him go, I do have one question. Yeah. So there's someone looking over your shoulder, and it happens to be your dad. He was talking about how proud he is of you, and what does it mean to be kind of running things and him being able to see all that?
It's special.
Yeah.
He gave me this passion for boat racing. I was at my first boat race. I was 3 weeks old.
Yep.
And been living the dream with him. He got me in J-Stock when I was 9. I've been racing, and then once I decided I was retiring, we both started officiating together as chief referees. And then there was the event in 2016 where I was chief referee with the GPs. My dad was working the H1 as a turn official, so that was a special event. Yeah. And now chief referee with H1, and to have my dad here supporting me as always, and he gets to enjoy a great race event. It just, there's no words to describe it. It's just an unbelievable feeling.
Well, I just know when I met him, he was like, that's my son. And I was like, oh my gosh, yeah. And I hadn't put the two and two together, but what a wonderful story. And thanks for everything you do.
Oh, thank you very much.
You bet.
Absolutely. Thanks for everything you do. And now we're going to tell you to go do those things you do. Let's get some boats in the water. These fans are dying to see that U6.
Yeah. Let's get those boats on the water for sure.
Jonathan Abbott, he is the chief referee for H1 Unlimited. He's going to be one of the busiest guys here this weekend, and we hope he gets real busy in about a half an hour. Thank you for taking a little time.
Thank you very much.
Jonathan Abbott. chief referee of H1 Unlimited.
Thank you.
And so our fans, that was Jonathan Abbott, and you are looking right now at the U6 Miss Madison. As the drone flies over the top of it there, and it looks like we are going to be joined by Kyle Bipes, another man very instrumental not only in this regatta, instrumental in the business community here in Madison, instrumental with the U6 Miss Madison, and got Kyle Bipes here. He's going to talk to us here in just one moment. As soon as he gets the headset on and gets ready to go, we'll have him here. And I think right now we've got him there. There's Kyle Bipes. How you doing, bud?
Good, Brad. How are you? How are you?
It's good. And I was just saying all the things you do. This is a busy weekend.
Yeah, just a little bit. Just a little bit. I think my wife is ready to kick me to the curb because it's been nonstop for about 6 months.
You have to put some points in.
Oh
get
yeah.
some honey-do points.
Oh yeah. I'll get that taken care of. Took her to dinner last night at River Oak Chop House. Fantastic.
Good.
Fantastic. That's good. So I think I'm good for the weekend now. I think I'm good.
Yeah, nobody said you weren't a smart man, so that was nicely done.
Right.
And we talk about the Miss Madison. You're very busy with that.
Mm-hmm.
You're very busy with the regatta, but also you are sponsoring the event here with River City Printing. Tell us a little bit about that.
So the River City Printing sponsorship kind of came out of nowhere. Our sponsorship chair, Michael Licklider, reached out to me and said, hey, would your company want to sponsor? I said, you're going to have to talk to Forrest. I'm out. Conflict of interest, I'm done.
Sure.
Talk to Forrest. They came up with a deal that worked for everybody. It's always been my dream to sponsor this race. Grew up here, born and raised. There's nothing better than the Madison Regatta. I know some other fans may say other races are better. And I'm biased. This is the best race on the circuit in the world. 13,000 fans come here for a family reunion, and it's the greatest thing ever. So sponsoring this has been fantastic. The town has been extremely supportive. And then, obviously, this Madison Regatta stuff, my 2 years as VP, I knew I was going to come to this position, and it's been better than I expected. I knew it was going to be a lot of work, but the team behind me is absolutely amazing. They've made my job look really easy and made me look really good. And then in November, got a call that, hey, it's time for you to step up. Some things happened, so I took over Miss Madison Racing. We had nothing left, no tools, no boat, nothing. And Dave Bartish up in Detroit helped us out, got us a boat, and looks like slings are on the crane. I think we're getting close to seeing this boat run here, and I think there's going to be about 5,000 or 6,000 fans go absolutely crazy as soon as that thing lights up.
What do you think your heart rate is right now? I'm sure it's going up.
190, 195.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right. It's getting up there.
I don't have an Apple Watch to tell me, but
Yeah.
I know it would be up there.
Yeah.
This is what it's all about. All these fans, H1 here working with us. I was a little feisty early on trying to make sure that we could make this happen, but they worked fantastic with us. They've been extremely supportive of us. Daryl Strong has been extremely supportive. You guys have been awesome, and the weather's amazing. This water's going to drop. Tomorrow it's going to be absolutely perfect racing on the water. And it's going to be nonstop. We're sliding qualifying to tomorrow morning, maybe a little testing early, qualifying straight into heat. So we're going to go bam, 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 ready to go. And there's no better place to do this than Madison, Indiana.
That's right.
And Madison, Indiana in 2024 was the H1 Unlimited race site of the year. So
that's right.
Obviously you had a good year last year.
We did. You get the award.
Oh, yeah.
Looking good.
Oh, yeah, up there in Seattle. First time I've been to Seattle. It was absolutely amazing. I've never been there before. The people were fantastic at the Race Boat Museum. I've never been there, obviously. Seeing all those old crafts and seeing the 71 Miss Madison, I am ready for that thing to get completed. Those guys working on it are doing a fantastic job, but I'm ready for that thing to get completed and finally make its way right here to where that historic win happened in 1971.
Well, it feels a lot like Miss Madison 2025. I mean, you guys are creating a new story.
Yeah.
I know you're looking for engines. I don't know if you went to find one out of a fighter pilot. I don't think so. But.
No. we joked about that there's a military base close by that has Chinook helicopters.
Yes.
And we were like, hey, we're going. We're going to make this happen. Make sure we go at night.
That's right.
We watched the movie Madison right over there in Bicentennial Park, and it still gives me goosebumps watching it. And I wasn't even alive in 1971, wasn't even a thought. But watching that and the goosebumps that you get just from that feeling, I couldn't imagine being on the shoreline back then and watching that happen. And we've joked about it. The team has joked about it. maybe this is it.
Maybe this is it.
And you never know. You never know. It's boat racing. Anything can happen. But we're going to go out there. We'll get Brandon qualified, be ready to go, and all these fans here are going to go absolutely crazy when that thing finally lights up and we get a lap in.
Yep.
That is going to be a moment I know I'm not going to want to miss, because it's going to be a very special moment in our sport and in our sports history as you guys continue on this legacy. But there's another piece to it, and we touched a little bit on the parade, but I was talking to crew members this morning as Brent and I were walking down, and you look at them and you can just tell they haven't seen a lot of sleep over the last couple of months. And I said, but you guys are going to get in that parade tonight. And I said, as an old guy who's been around the block a few times, boy, enjoy that moment, because it's going to be a special moment.
Yeah, and my whole goal throughout this whole process is to get Brandon qualified and watch him turn left on Jefferson Street as a qualified driver. I mean, my hair's standing up. It's going to be amazing. If you would have told me at the end of March we would have a boat ready to race in Gunnersville, I would have called you crazy. 71 or 72 days from the time we got the boat to the day we got in Gunnersville, Alabama. The boat went out there and run. Little hiccup with the engine, but we got out there and ran, and that's just a testament to this team. And that's what we talked about after it is, guys, listen, we thrashed for 71 days. Trey Holt worked at least 12-hour days for 70 days straight. To get this thing on the water. So he's been fantastic. Bringing in some more experience with him this weekend with Bob Katapovic and Bill Guckian, just to help him out, take a little pressure off of him. And it's helped out. The trailer fire yesterday was absolutely perfect.
It was
Bill,
flawless.
Bill said we're running for 3 minutes. We ran for 3 minutes. Systems checked out perfect. So we're ready to go now. We're ready.
No, I believe it. And, everyone loves the underdog. And, it's been fun watching, but I'll tell you, I could tell you were doing a ton of work just from the Facebook post. So if you haven't followed the team on Facebook.
That's right.
But, man, the progress that you've made to this point, regardless of what happens, you're going to make it. We're really excited for you.
Oh, yeah. We're extremely excited. There's been talks of going out west. A lot of people have asked me. If sponsorship money's there, we might think about it, but we also want to take a mental reset and, hey, let's stop and see what we want to do. This could be the last chapter of Miss Madison. The board doesn't want that to happen, but this could be it, and we want to make sure that all of our I's are dotted, T's are crossed, to make sure that if there is a Miss Madison, we do it correct and do it right, and don't stretch ourselves too thin, and just we want to make this work. We love this town. We love this boat racing community, and I know everybody else loves boat racing. Otherwise, they wouldn't be down here to watch us.
And that's the last piece I want to touch on is you talk about the legacy and so forth and doing it right. Just quickly about the support of the community. I know this is your opportunity right now to put that boat in the water and kind of give back to them a little bit, but the support has been incredible.
It's been unbelievable. We started a membership drive in March to try to drum up some money. This boat's been community owned since 1961.
Wow.
So we wanted the people that truly love Miss Madison to give back and really get that feeling of they're an owner. But we have 13,000 fans here that are owners. No taxes come out or anything crazy like that, but this is their boat. And I've told everybody, as long as that big door on Milton Street's open, you're more than welcome to stop in and check it out, because we are a family, and that's what we want to do. We want to make sure that those people, all 13,000 citizens, know that this is a Miss Madison. And I've had a ton of people come up to me and say, I really wanted the 71 paint scheme on it, but seeing Madison as big as it is on that boat, they absolutely love it, because they know now at this point that's theirs.
Yep.
That's theirs.
I will simply say that I've been a fan of the sport for too many years, more than I'm going to admit to. But all the way back into the 1950s, and I've been here many, many times over the last 20 years. I yesterday set foot in that shop for the first time.
And it's a good shop.
It was a great shop. I walked in, I went, wow, if these walls could talk. Everything that has happened in this building, it was very cool. And I'm telling you, he means it when he says, if the door's open, stick your nose in there and say hello. Great people. Everybody's, and that's the best part about our sport, is everybody in it, to include yourself and all our drivers and owners, everybody is so approachable.
Yes. We had Cory Peabody and Timmy Collins stop in Wednesday or Thursday.
Okay.
And I'm joking with them, hey, get the heck out of here. We don't need you in here. But no, they stepped in and gave some pointers to Trey. And that's what this is all about. This boat racing community is so tight. There's not a lot of us, but it's extremely tight, and anybody's willing to help out. And when we were down in Gunnersville, Mike Hansen, Brian Piziak, Scott Rainey, everybody in the pits. I know I'm missing a couple. We're there to make sure that we at least got it trailer fired and got it out there.
That's right.
And we can't thank them enough for all they did. And I don't know how many calls I got. Brent, you called me of, hey, let's get motors. Let's make sure you're ready for Madison. And they were extremely supportive. They've helped us get to this point, and now it's all about to happen. The slings I can see are hanging over the boat.
His heart rate just hit 200.
I know. They're hanging over. I just want to see them drop. Our start-finish boat's going out there. Looks like H1 Rescue's taking a trip up the backstretch, and I'm, gosh dang, I'll be speechless when this happens. Absolutely speechless.
I think it's about time we throw you out of here. I've been keeping an eye on that sling because if it started to move, I know where you want to be.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for taking a few minutes and coming over, and best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Go enjoy what I'm really hoping is a very special moment here in a short period of time.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
All
Appreciate
right.
you all so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Kyle Bipes right here from Miss Madison Racing, and that he's going to take that 190 beats a minute heartbeat of his and head down toward the pit area to see his boat hopefully get into the water. Brent, that was kind of fun.
That was a lot of fun. Oh, my goodness. But we're going to have even more fun. We got J. Michael Kelly here.
So we are going to be joined by J. Michael Kelly here. You're looking at the screen, and you can see the H1 rescue boat that Kyle referenced was running up the backstretch. We do have our start-finish line boat getting into position, and the sling yet hasn't moved toward the U6, but we are joined here on our little broadcast position by J. Michael Kelly. Mike, how are you, man? Welcome to Madison.
Yeah, I'm doing good. It's good to be back here and just looking forward to it and excited to see a few boats possibly getting on the water today. And then, of course, looking forward to that parade tonight.
Absolutely, and here you got a couple of Seattle guys welcoming you to Madison,
sir.
Indiana.
Yes, sir.
We're all kind of West Coast types, and this humidity's a little difficult.
Yeah, it takes a little bit to get used to, but it could be worse, you know. It could be raining and wind could be blowing, and
yes,
I'll take this any day over that.
That's right.
Well, absolutely, and if we can just drop that level a little bit, to your point, water conditions, weather, it's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, you look out at the river right now, and you couldn't ask for better conditions. So, you know, I want to be out there running laps, and but we'll get to see a boat, and hopefully Brandon will get some laps in that Madison boat and be able to go race the rest of the weekend.
I've got a hunch you know Brandon Kennedy a whole lot better than I do, but from my perspective on this, this is not about Brandon. If the boat's ready, he'll make it go.
Yeah, no, he's more than capable of it. So many guys that we race against in all different, categories and stuff. It's fun to see guys like this get an opportunity, and he'll make the most of it, I'm sure.
What we're looking at on the screen there, our fans are seeing the water level, and the last time you saw a crane float on water is probably a while ago, but you're going to get wet if you walk out on the dock right now, but we'll get the guys out there, and I know you're anxious to get going, and we got a brand new race course here for you.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to see how that first turn is going to be.
That's what I was going to ask you. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, as you know, I mean, that thing's swallowed me a few times spit me out the other side.
Sure.
So, that's the biggest thing. We got to get through those corners, and if that helps, you're going to have a lot of great racing throughout the week, and got a lot of fast boats that are evenly matched, and I think it can be pretty exciting.
Yeah, maybe, I know you can't give all your strategy, but maybe tell us a little bit about just lane choice and things like that. Tell us what you want to tell us, but, just when you go into that corner, is it good to be in lane one, or what's the thought?
I mean, for me, I've kind of lived on the inside.
You have.
And, so when I've been, I think a couple years ago, I ran more on the outside. And so it is different, but, I think it depends on whether you're fast or you're slow.
That's right, yeah.
And so
got my horsepower.
Usually if I'm slow, I'm fighting for an inside.
What's your motor's name right now, and which one do you want?
Right now, I think I'm running a motor that's called Salty.
Salty, okay,
yeah,
all right.
Actually, it should be a good engine. It's the engine I won with in Seattle and ran really good in
Hi, Daryl.
Yeah, Daryl just made a cameo appearance there. So
and ran it in San Diego, and I was fast there.
Yeah.
We put that motor in Alabama after qualifying and stuff, and unfortunately didn't do a shakedown on it. So we'll be doing that here this weekend, and fingers crossed that I have a fast boat. And if it's fast, I might not want to be on the inside.
You're like, I got this.
You know, it's just kind of, you just got to play it one heat at a time and just kind of, you know, obviously put yourself in the best situation at that time to try to go win a race.
That's right.
Would it make sense to say that you, as a driver over the years, like that 2-mile race course? I know you've got 4 straight wins in that 2-miler in Seattle. Do you like the shorter course?
I like them all. I think it's just, for whatever reason, on the 2 miles, I think it evens everything out. Like, I haven't always had the fastest race boat, so I think on the 2-mile race courses, it kind of, you know, brings us a little closer and gives me, you know, the guys that aren't as fast, you know, a better chance of, you know, having a chance to win a race. You get on the bigger courses, those faster boats will usually end up, you know, eating you, you know, towards the end of the straightaways and start, you know, stretching it out a little bit more. So, yeah, hopefully we'll be getting my boat a little bit more horsepower, and I can be one of those fast guys. And but yeah, I just glad to be here. Excited to get out in my race boat. I'm happy about the boat. The boat's been handling great. They made a lot of changes to it in the off season.
Yep.
So we'll just see how things work out and get some laps on it this weekend.
Yeah, and I know you've been waiting a long time. We didn't get a lot in Gunnersville, and so now you're like, okay, let's do this. Yeah, we're really excited for you, and I think, you know, you've spoken like a true racer. You love different challenges and different courses, and you're just like, okay, well, what does it have this time, and how can I outsmart everyone else? And it'll be fun to watch. I know you're going to bring something to the table.
Yeah, no, I'll be asking the kids, because those my boys.
Yes, that we were going to ask.
That's all they do is study, and then they're like, Dad, why are you doing that?
And spend a minute on that.
They're very, you know, they're very good at that kind of stuff, and you know, proud of them, and just excited about their future too. And yeah.
Well, you and I were talking about it in an interview. It's getting closer where Carson may actually end up being in one of these, and you may have to face him. You've done it in 45, and now he's working his way up the ranks. So.
Oh yeah, no,
exciting.
it's been fun. Carson's been doing an amazing job. He's slowly taken over a lot of the stuff I've been driving, and that's what it's about. And you know, my ultimate goal is to race against my boys in unlimiteds.
Yep.
And hopefully I'm beating
boys,
them.
not just one, but two. Yeah.
So like, I'm not ready to stop yet.
No.
Like
If
I can win races and I'm still feel like I'm, you know, doing good, I want to keep doing it, and because I love doing it.
Yeah.
But my ultimate goal is to race against those boys, and if I'm beating them, I'm still going to go out there, and I'm not.
I think Dave's showing you can do it a long time.
Oh, Dave gave me another 25
more
years.
There you go. There you go. Yeah.
I know you and I were talking about your kids. I know you were explaining to me a conversation with your wife, talking about wrestling with the boys. And, well, shouldn't you let them win once in a while? No.
No way.
No.
No, I asked Carson, because, you know, I did get asked that question, like, shouldn't you let the boys win once in a while? And I'm like, well, and I asked Carson flat out, I'm like, do you want me to let you win? He says, no, because one day I'm going to be able to beat you, Dad. I'm like, good answer, and I like that. He's like, you know, you push me, and, you know, that's what it's about, making sure the kids stay out of trouble.
Yeah.
You push them to be their best, and, you know, and that's what it's about.
That's right.
Oh, there's one other piece to that puzzle. You get to stand back and be very, very proud when that happens.
Yeah, no,
100%.
like especially with both boys racing now, like, I'm enjoying more being their pit crew and watching them race. Like, I get more enjoyment doing that than I do actually racing myself. You know, it's kind of, I think that's it's I think a normal thing to go through, and I love it. You know, I love being a dad, and love watching them succeed. And you know, even when they fail, they bounce back, and it's like, you know, that's part of growing up. And you know, so that's a big learning curve. It's what life's all about.
I love it.
Yep.
I want to be there the day you first get to run against the boys. You'll be, if I've got it right, the 4th father-son duo to do that.
Okay.
I've got to go back in my notes and see who won each time. I'm thinking of them, but you might have your hands full with that. My last point I want to bring up is Madison, Indiana. Talk a little bit about this venue, these people, this community, and how it all comes together here in the Ohio.
Oh, it's amazing here. You know, first time I came here, and, you know, to now, and I mean, every year it gets better for me in the family. I think the thing I look forward to most when I do come here is the parade. I look forward to being a part of that parade, and it's just amazing to be able to walk down the shoreline and get recognized by people and stuff. And it's nice to catch up, and you start remembering and getting familiar with people, and so I look forward to coming to this race and seeing my friends and that I've made over the years, and then they start traveling out to some of the other races and stuff. So it's pretty neat, and this race course, it's challenging, but I've had some success here too, and but that's what's unique about this race course is you have to be able to navigate through different conditions and and survive.
That's right.
So yeah.
Well done.
So are you as excited as we all are to see Brandon take to the water?
Oh, I'm excited. It's always good to see somebody new that's deserving come in, and he'll be more than capable. I mean, you guys have seen him run his GP, and I've watched him run a lot of his other inboard classes and stuff like that. And so once he gets some laps and stuff like that, I'll be more than comfortable running side by side with him.
Yep.
I think we got a great group of guys, and there's so many other guys that are deserving of the opportunity to get to do this. And like I always tell everybody, I'm one of the lucky few that get to do this, and I've been able to make it stick, and I hope I can do it a lot longer. So when somebody else can come in and we get another boat on the water, that's what we need, and it's pretty cool. And
big deal.
we got to just get the rest of those boats out, and could have a pretty good fleet of race boats out there. Like right now, though, I mean, the boats we have running, I mean, you couldn't ask for better competition. Like anybody can win.
Yeah.
So that's exciting.
That is exciting.
Yeah.
We're working on getting a few more boats out. We'll see.
Yeah.
We are indeed. He is J. Michael Kelly. He drives the U8, the Beacon Electric. It's bright red, trimmed in yellow. It's also pretty darn fast. So I guess it's going to be tomorrow before we see you on the water. But the next up for you is the parade. You talked about it.
Yep.
And I've seen much footage of you during the parade with your team. You're always out interacting with the fans, running around, throwing buttons. It's a good time.
Yeah, no, I get a good workout during the parade. I usually follow the race boat and run around and sign autographs, hand candy out, and throw footballs. And but that's what I love. Is
there a gritty contest coming, like between you and your son, or I just heard something. I don't know.
I'll leave that to the boys. Yeah, I'll leave that to the boys.
All right, fair enough.
All right. Like I said, he is J. Michael Kelly. We'll let you get. I appreciate you taking the time and talking with us here. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you, guys.
Keep it safe on the water.
Yeah.
Have some fun, and give us a show.
Yep.
We didn't get one in Gunnersville. We're all excited to see the boats run.
It's been a while since I've been on the water. I don't think I hit the water since Friday at Gunnersville. So, yeah.
There we go. We'll let J. Michael Kelly step away. The Madison boat is being put on the sling, so I think we all know what we're going to do for the next 10, 15 minutes.
Yep.
We're going to step over there where we can watch, too.
Yep.
All right. We'll let Mike step away.
Great to see you.
And you're looking at the U6, the Miss Madison, Brandon Kennedy. He's been the topic of conversation here as we talk with our drivers. And Brandon's going to go out there and see if he can start turning some laps toward getting himself qualified. He did not get to do so in Guntersville. You know how that all works.
I do.
He's got to do 15 laps. He's got to turn 10 of those 15 laps north of 130 miles per hour. Certainly the boat has it in it, or at least we believe it does. It certainly did back in the day. It's the former T3 Miss Budweiser.
It's a good boat.
And I don't think there's any question Brandon Kennedy has it in him,
Very
as Mike
capable.
was just saying.
Absolutely. Yeah, he will get it done. The boat's going to cooperate. We're going to see something great, and we're going to cheer him along the way. So really excited about it.
I am fully expecting we are going to hear a rather large roar go up from this crowd when that boat pulls away from the dock. I'm going to be terribly disappointed if that doesn't happen.
100%, and I'll try not to yell in this microphone because I'll be doing it too.
Well, you and I have already kind of set up our mics to where, and our headsets to where we can step over there, and we're going to watch right along with everybody else. And I think we're going to get joined here by
just Andrew Tate.
It's
That's
Andrew
all. Just
Tate.
Andrew
Doesn't
Tate.
get much better than that. He's our defending Indiana Governor's Cup champion. He knows what it takes to win here on the Ohio River, and he's been kind enough to sit here and spend some time with us. He's been waiting for us to get on camera here. We're going to have him put the headset on.
We just got some instructions about our glasses. We took them off.
Yeah, there we go. So we are going to have Andrew live. I think you're live now. Can you hear me there, young man?
I got you, buddy.
There you go. Welcome to Madison, Indiana. How about that?
It's great to be back. A lot of 4th of Julys here in Madison, Indiana. Probably more here for me than anywhere else. So.
Yeah, because you've been traveling down here with your family, with your father for sure. Dad's here this weekend.
Dad's here, Mom's here. Grandma and Aunt Terry are on their way if they're not already here. So, yeah, it's really cool for us to have a race here close to home in the Midwest, and kind of carrying on the tradition of our family.
The discussion that Brent and I have been having as we've had personalities come sit with us, it's kind of centered on not you and not them. It's kind of been talking about Brandon Kennedy, a guy you know quite well. He's about to have a very big moment. The boat is on the slings. I think they're about to put it in the water. What do you remember about when you first got qualified as an H1 driver?
You know, it's funny. It doesn't seem like it was that long ago, but it's been about 10 years now. For me, it was nerve-wracking, I guess. It's a big boat. There's a lot of people here, a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of money. So, and then, of course, my dad's been involved with the sport. So there was, I guess, some pressure or maybe expectation, or maybe there wasn't, and it was all internal, but that's fine. But I remember being a little bit nervous and just hoping that I could do the job. Took things pretty slow, I think, but it ended up working out, and I'm still here, so I guess I did something right.
You definitely did. Yeah. And I remember you when you were running 2.5 mod. I think you came out west, and I got to meet you, and I don't think you were in 21 yet, but I was like, this kid's an old soul, and he's going to be great. I think I even said you're going to be in an unlimited someday, and you're like, but look at you now.
Yeah, it's funny. Something I kind of never thought I would do.
Yeah.
To me, I was really focused with the kneel down outboard stuff, trying to win a national championship and see hydro, which is something I've never done. So that was always my immediate goal and my immediate focus. And we did a lot of testing and a lot of racing and to try and make that happen. Unfortunately, it never did. Maybe one day I can get back to it. I still tinker once in a while, but you know, yeah, we got into the inboard stuff with the English family, and that was very, very cool, the 2.5 mod. And again, it was the same kind of internal pressure maybe on myself with that to not go out there and wreck someone else's equipment or get in anyone else's way or a more experienced driver, but to just kind of learn and take it all in and then see what comes of it. But I think you might have had that thought about the unlimited thing before I did, because it was always just one day at a time and the task at hand. So I guess the approach was okay, but it's been a long journey and a wonderful one. I met a lot of great people.
Yeah, you sure have.
I think that's what we all say about our involvement with the sport. Certainly you guys are at a level different than I am, but still, it's meeting people. That's the best part of going to these communities. You make friends. You see them once a year, but they're some of your best friends.
Yeah, a lot of really good friends. A lot of really respectable relationships as far as competing and you know, being able to talk to each other on the shore, have a beer, go to dinner, hang out with their kids and their families. It's a tight-knit group, and we all really, really want to win. We all want to do well, but we're all friends. We need to make sure we're all big one happy family, right?
Absolutely. I've made the comment that these guys are all friends. They're all good buddies all the time. Sometimes after some time on the water, it may take you 45 minutes to remember that and get calmed down, because your competitors first, your friends first, then your competitors. And I see looking through some table legs here, the Madison's in the air, it's moving. That's a big deal for these fans.
It's really, really cool. It's taken a kind of a big effort from a lot of different people to make this happen, and I think we're all going to kind of turn our heads and look and see what happens here. You don't need to talk to me too much longer, do you?
We'll get you again. We'll get you again.
I want you to see, we have these cords running around the table so we can step all the way over there, because we're just fans at heart too. We want to watch this.
Yeah, we can go a couple more minutes if you want. No worries. I'm just giving you a hard time. But the boat is definitely going in the water, and yeah, we're looking forward to seeing what Brandon can do. You know, Trey Holt, Kyle Bipes, the whole team, the whole town has put a lot into this, and it's exciting for some new blood. Brandon's been a really successful inboard driver for a really long time and done a lot of different things. So for him to get an opportunity here, it's special. You know, his family is very similar to mine, and the generations, and you know, his mom and his dad and his grandfather all being involved with racing. So cousins, it's very, very cool. Not only for Brandon, but for the whole Kennedy family.
Yeah, you were talking about family. So I heard about a little bit about Grandma Tate. I heard she's a feisty one when it comes to her Andrew. So anything you might share there?
Feisties.
Wow, that was almost a speechless Andrew Tate right there for a minute.
Yeah, uh-oh. How did you find out about Grandma?
Feisty might be a nice word.
Okay, all right.
But no, she's easily probably my biggest fan and my biggest supporter, and you know, it's really cool that not only me, my dad when he was racing, and she'd stay home and watch me and my brother if mom and dad had to go on a road trip or go racing or something, and if she wasn't watching us, she was at the races rooting him on, and that got passed down. Obviously, me and my brother both still race, and she's definitely keeps tabs on us no matter what, and. Yeah, man, you mess with me, should be the first one to tell you about
Tate.
it. Yeah,
okay,
I'd be more worried about her than anything I'm going to do to you.
Yeah, I'll agree. I've heard. We want to meet her too someday. I know she's going to be here, but yeah, we'd love to meet her.
She was here a year ago, correct?
Yeah. Usually every year she makes it down to Madison, so it's a really cool thing for us and our family, and I think she'd be a hell of an interview if you guys could trap her and talk her into coming over here.
Already on my list. Stories. She's on my list.
I would love to do it because we got the 27s going in the water as well. We're going to have two boats in the water here quickly, so we're going to step away from Andrew. Not that he's not important, but we really want to see.
We'll be back.
But Grandma made us cookies and brought cookies to us last year here on the broadcast tower.
That's on Brad. I don't have that kind of pull, but you know.
All right.
Maybe this year.
Just be nice to me. You might get some this year, too.
Last question I've got for you.
Yeah.
You got a new course. How do you approach a brand new course? You've never been on it before. How do you approach it when you go out first time?
It's the same river, right?
Good point. Good point. Yeah, well said.
It's the Ohio. The corners are tight. We kind of have an idea of what to expect. I think you lose a half a mile, I think I know what to expect. But as far as the course, go out there, take a lap or two, take it nice and easy, figure out where all the buoys are, try and understand what you think might be the fastest way around the race course, and kind of go from there. You got to fill the boat out, make sure that's all set up. You got to get a read on fuel. You know, what are my lights doing? Am I over-geared? Am I under-geared? What lane do I think is going to be the best come race time? And try and gain some confidence, I think. Understanding what you can and can't do with the boat on this race course, whether it's 2.5 miles or 2 miles, is a big deal. You know,
right.
If you watch the lines in qualifying, we use a lot of this race course. We go inside, we go outside, depending on if we're in the straightaway or the turns. We're trying to apex the corners and let that boat slide. It becomes more of a stock car race, right?
Right.
You enter you're high, and then you come down low at the apex, and you go back out high to try and keep that thing rolling. That's a lot of mass and a lot of weight. You go back to Gunnersville. If you weren't running the buoys, you weren't running the fastest way around the race course, right?
Driving a Cadillac around the corner, yeah.
So it presents a unique challenge no matter the length of the straightaways here. And as a driver and as a racer, to know that the buoy line isn't the best way around, and you can move your competitors or put them in bad situations, or it's really, really cool for me as a competitor. You know, that's exciting. That's some racing.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, hopefully we get some good stuff this weekend.
Yeah. No, hey, it's been great spending time with you as always, and we are going to pick your brain. I think we may talk to a few of your family members, but just excited for you, and I know you'll be checking out the parade. That's going to be a great time, but hopefully it'll be even another level because Miss Madison has gotten some qualifying laps in.
Yeah, we'll see what these guys do here, but we've got really high hopes for them, and we need them out there. So best of luck to Brandon, best of luck to Madison, and it's great to be back here. I kind of feel like a little kid every time I get to come down here because it was always the parade, it was always the fireworks, it was family and friends from the Midwest. So it's nice, kind of doing the same thing in a little bit of a different seat and perspective, but it's really a special place for me and my family. So hopefully I have a good weekend.
Yeah.
Well, that's very, very cool. We will wish you the best of luck as well. And Andrew, thanks for taking some time and coming over here. I think they're getting close to closing the lid on that. We're all going to walk over there so we can get a good view. Have a good weekend, my friend.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, good luck to you guys as well.
Thank
Have
you.
some fun.
Appreciate it much. It is Andrew Tate, the driver of the U91, the Goodman Real Estate. And we're looking at the U6 Miss Madison. You see the lid is still up.
Good job.
And they are definitely talking to Brandon, and they're just making sure everything is okay. We did not get an opportunity to talk to the team before the boat went down and in the water because we were sitting here. But, Brent, I'm kind of thinking that I might half expect they'll close the lid, send the boat out, maybe take a lap, maybe two, and just make sure systems are all working well. Is that how this works?
It's always a good idea to just do a quick shakedown, make sure all hoses are tight, there's no oil leaks. A great thing to do, but, you know, they may already know that they've double-checked everything and decide to go. So the crew chief will make that ultimate choice, and we'll figure out here in a minute what they're going to do.
Well, it's going to be a big moment, and I know that I'm noticing that people here on the tower with us, there seems to be a little bit of an exodus here toward the front row here.
Yeah,
I
we're
think.
not so popular anymore, are we?
No, we are not. People were all around us, and now they're leaving, but for very good reason. And I'm watching the monitor here. I know our fans are watching it up there, just hoping they'll push that lid down here shortly, and it will be a huge moment.
Yep, it really will. And, you know, we were just talking about the history of the moment, and Brandon getting qualified. There's a very short list of people that are active unlimited hydroplane drivers, and he'll be adding to that list. So it's a big deal for him. As Andrew was saying, a big deal for his family. They've been watching him and being a part of his racing. So a lot of proud moments, and there may be a few tears of joy for sure.
Absolutely, and we are continuing a 64-year legacy here from 1961 when Sam DuPont donated the nitrogen to the city of Madison and said, here, have a race boat. Now, they'd been racing boats here since 1950, but Sam DuPont donated the nitrogen to the city in 61, and that's why, the way I count, 64 years ago.
Okay.
And the legacy continues, and there was some time during the off season that we thought maybe that wouldn't happen, but through the people like Kyle Bipes and Mayor Bob Courtney and this whole team they've put together, they're going to make sure it happens. And this is a big moment during the 50th anniversary.
It really is. I know Kyle was saying his heart rate was up to 190. Mine's up there too. I'm like, hey, I want to see these guys do it, and I know they will.
Well, and we're all just fans, and that's what we want to see. And I'm trying to peek through here. It looks like we got a lot of the crew members are on the dock. I don't know if they've closed the lid. The lid is down, right, so we're going to keep a camera on it. Let's go, Brent.
Okay, we're moving up. Okay, I'm
there it goes, ladies and gentlemen. The Madison is away from the dock. The U6. Holy cow. What a moment here.
Looking
Brent,
good.
there it is. He's away from the dock. It's looking good.
Lots of cheers. We love it.
The former T3, now yellow, black, and white, Miss Madison carrying the famous number U6 for this hydroplane. Brandon will go down toward the bottom end of the race course. Then, just to reiterate again what we've been talking about, to qualify as an H1 driver, he's got to turn 15 laps, 10 of which have to be north of 130 miles an hour.
Exactly right.
And as we were talking a little bit with, I forget who it was, but certainly Brandon Kennedy is capable.
Yeah, both Andrew and J. Michael were like, you know, he's very capable. Definitely people would trust him being on their inside, and now he's just going to find the course and get some speed, and it's looking pretty good so far.
He's looking real good so far. It is Brandon Kennedy in the U6 Miss Madison. It just feels so good, Brent Hall, to say that.
Oh, it really does. I know we were all waiting for it in Gunnersville, but no better place to do it than here in Madison, Indiana.
He comes off the top end of the race course. Fans up and down the shoreline are giving it up for Brandon Kennedy.
Oh, people are loving it.
He is on the clock for lap number 1. And those of you watching who might think, oh, wait a minute, he's already been around once. He hadn't yet crossed start finish line. So he has now. And the boat is running smartly. Brent Hall, boat looks great.
Boat looks great. And just like Andrew was talking about, he's taking it tight at the apex buoy and then spreading out a little bit. So that's how you keep your RPMs up and keep your speed up in the corners. And he's doing exactly what he's supposed to do.
Brent, I'm looking up and down the shoreline here. There's not one person sitting down. Everybody is watching this. Every team, every person here in Madison is watching what is an extremely special moment in not only H1 Unlimited hydroplane history, but also in the history of Madison, Indiana.
Another really nice corner. And, you know, just talking about the movie, you know, seeing him on the course doing this, it's bringing back memories from the movie. And like I said, I think we may have to do another one. Miss Madison 2025.
Now we will check a speed, and 134.990. 134.990. So there's that first lap at $1:30.
Yep, he's north.
How about that?
Yeah, absolutely.
How about that?
He took it just right, and he's feeling out the boat. I bet you're just like we saw in Gunnersville, we're going to see the speeds just pick up, slowly pick up.
What a moment here on the Ohio River for these fans. This is really exciting. He's getting a great boat ride, Brent.
Oh, great boat ride, and lots of cheering from the fans. This is a really special moment.
Yeah, and this is going to be a better lap, if for nothing else than the upper corner.
That corner was nice.
Yeah, that corner was very nice. He carried more boat speed through that corner. I'll step back here and get a speed. You keep an eye on him, Brent.
I'm listening. Okay, we're right on the money.
134.675.
There you go.
Oh, he took a big hop down there.
That's that corner that we talk about.
And he's lost speed now. It looks like he's getting it back. Apparently the cowling is beginning to come off. Yeah, the cowling is lifting up on the boat as a result of that big hop.
Yeah, let's
see
if he brings it in.
Yeah, I think you need to bring the boat back now. He's going to want to finish this lap.
Yeah.
I think he's going to, but no, he's going to bring it back home and just shut it off. But this will count as a lap.
Yeah, there are laps that count.
That's right. So we'll get a speed on this one, and it's not an aborted lap because he did cross start finish line. 123.241 miles per hour. So that's 3 laps.
Yeah.
And that's good. No, he didn't get the 130, but clearly the boat can run 130.
Oh, easy. Yeah, and you could tell he was taking it easy there. And that turn 1, even though they've moved it, it's got a lump in it that always seems to hit drivers. So hopefully we'll get Brandon back here on tow, and then he'll go at it again. Really, as you can see, the water's for him. The whole city of Madison wants to see him do it.
Yep.
We do have boats that are here, but I think we're all kind of bowing down to Brandon and want to see him get this job done.
Absolutely. Well, it was good.
It was great. Hey.
And compared to Guntersville.
Yes.
Where of course, you got to come all the way across the lake.
Yeah.
And he came off all the way across the lake and then came off the top end of the race course, and that was the end of it. And he drifted down to the start-finish line. Never really even started a lap, but he's got 3 in the books now.
He's got 3 in the books, and you just count them down one by one. All is good.
And I think that was clearly the right thing to do there. Finish that lap at a slow speed because it still counts. Yep. Remember, 15 total laps, 10 north of $1:30. And he's when I went to school, that's 2/3 of the lap, and I think he just did 3 and did 2 north. I think he's on target.
Yeah, 20% there, I think, if I did my math right. Yeah.
You are good. That's why we have you on this broadcast,
Mr.
Hall.
Not the sharpest tool in the shed, but I'm all right. I'm all right.
I think you are. We are looking at Brandon Kennedy there, and you're seeing him on the screen. You see him waving. There are a lot of cheers going up down the beach, and Brandon is out acknowledging the fans here in Madison, Indiana, and I can only imagine what's going through his mind, his heart, his body right now. He has to be on some level sitting there just going, I did this. I can do it.
That's right. And, even though he's back on tow, there's no worry there. He just wants to get the boat back, figure out what's next, and get back out again. And every time you get laps in an unlimited, it feels more comfortable. And so I think that's one of the other things is just like you said, he can do it. I'm feeling more comfortable. And, boy, let me back out there again and let's see what I can do.
So those of you on the H1 live stream see the 3-lap speeds on there. And you also see off to the left there the qualifying driver laps still to go. And he needs 12 more total laps, 8 of which have to be north of 130 miles an hour. Our thanks to the stat man who
of course.
Drew that graphic up. That's pretty good. He's been waiting to play that card since before Gunnersville, I want you to know.
One of those late nights. Oh, I got an idea. Yes, yeah.
That's how it works with this man.
I know it. Love the stat man.
He does amazing work for H1 Unlimited, and he's been waiting to play that graphic for some time. So
he's got stuff up his sleeve for this weekend. I don't know when we're going to talk about that, but the stat man's got some new stuff for us to play with this year.
Has he given you the preview?
Well, yes, but I don't know if he's given me the thumbs up or so. Oh. He's just got some stuff for us. That's all I know.
He's got some very cool stuff coming. So I think what's going to happen here. We'll keep an eye on the monitor here. And actually, Brent and I can't see the monitor. We don't have one because we want to go stand as close to the water as we can like everybody else. We have to step back here with the stat man to see the screen. But you're looking there at the U27, the Apollo, and that will be Dave Vilwock behind the wheel. And I'm going to expect that they will take Brandon and pull him over toward the shoreline so Dave can get out on the water. So I'm assuming that's what will probably happen next.
Yep. And, Dave wants to see what the old Sharky can do. He's
been
racing against it for years, as the Oberto. And it'll just be interesting for him to be in the other boat.
Did the lid just go down? Oh, there it is. Okay. Yep, now I can see it. Statman has to tell me even what I'm looking at on the screen, man.
But that's why he's here.
That's why he's here.
Make sure we know what we're talking about. Because sometimes we need some help.
We do. And now I get to welcome you to the best part of this entire gig.
And what is that?
Is, at least for me, we're just standing here with headsets on, waiting for another boat to come out. We're just talking hydroplanes.
Yeah, you know what? Like friend to friend, just sitting at a bar somewhere. So excited to be here in Madison. And, just when we drove in, the history and the town and the feel, it's something you've got to experience. If you haven't been to the Madison race ever, I definitely would say it's must-see. You got to come check this out.
It was many years ago for me. My family and I were having a conversation with he's a boat racer. I'm going to assume some people know who he was. His name was Chip Hanauer.
Oh, I know that guy.
Yeah, and I asked him. I remember specifically asking him, hey, I've never really been anywhere other than Tri-Cities and Seattle. I said, if I was going to go back east, where do I go? He goes, hands down, Madison, Indiana.
Yeah.
He goes, it's more than just the race. He said it's the town, it's the community, it's the parade, it's the fireworks, it's the water ball fight on Wednesday night of regatta week, and so it was always on my bucket list. And I'll never forget the first time I came in and I saw the smokestacks down there, and I go, God, I saw those on ESPN for 15 years, and then you show up and see this setting. It really is something special.
Yeah, and you were showing me where in the movie, the gentleman, the boy in the movie.
Jake Lloyd. He was right down there.
Yeah.
On top of that tower. You're going to get a little wet, I think, maybe getting out to that tower now, but yep, there is a video, and I can't tell you the name of it, but on YouTube, the lid is down on the 27, the Miss Apollo, so we will step away from our trip down movie trivia memory lane. And,
yes, we can sidestep for a second.
And our fans who follow this very closely and haven't yet seen it, there is the first look at the Sharky.
Yeah.
And we call it Sharky. It's the 07 Miss
Oberto.
Madison hull.
Yeah.
And it had the shark's teeth on it and the eye and all that good stuff. So they call it Sharky.
Yeah.
But here it is painted up as the Apollo. And it looks like, honestly, I thought maybe they were going to bring the boat back in toward the dock. This will be Dave's first time in this hull.
It is. He's raced against it for years, and here we're going.
So here we go.
I like the color combination. It's got a little bit of Goodman, a little bit of Apollo. It's just it's unique.
It is unique, and it's definitely different than the other boat, which was Stars and Stripes.
Yeah.
And granted, they didn't have near the amount of time to do
Hey,
that.
you know what? Sometimes I do my best shopping on Christmas Eve. So
There-
you know, that's how,
I like
that's how
that.
that works. Yeah.
I like that. So Dave is away and heads down toward the bottom end of the race course. And again, as we were just talking with the drivers, this is a brand new race course. We've had 2-mile race courses in Seattle or in Madison before, but not this 2-mile race course. So this is a new one. And Dave will go down there, and I assume, Brent, something like this. Go down there and find where the buoys are and get yourself some points of reference and
Yeah.
get to know where the course is.
Just getting to know the course, getting to know the boat. I know they changed the pedals and stuff. Dave's a little bit taller than the last person that was in that boat. So, yeah.
I believe the last person in that boat was Andrew Tate.
I think you're right.
I think that's right. So, yeah, there's a little size difference there.
Just a few inches.
Yeah,
Just a few inches.
Just
but
a few. So Dave's going to come slowly up the backstretch in front of the Milton, Kentucky shoreline.
sometimes this is the calm before the storm. You know, he's just checking gauges, making sure everything's good, and then, boy, once he steps on it, then you feel the G-forces pushing you back and hit the corner at 3.5, 5 Gs. It's going to be exciting here in a minute.
Yeah, and we heard the drivers talking about how tight these corners are, and it is. Boy, you stand here, and this is the closest we've ever been to a corner in Madison. And, boy, you look up to turn 2 where Dave's headed now. From entrance to exit, that just doesn't look very far.
No, it doesn't. You know, it'll be interesting just to hear what the fans think. I like being able to see both corners and not having it behind the bridge, but also they don't get quite the same straightaway run. But I think for the fans, this should be really exciting, and just want to see how the racing changes because of it.
Yep. So here is Dave at the top end of the race course. He has now seen both our corners as he comes off the top end. We'll see if Dave likes what he's reading on the instrument panel. I assume if he doesn't, he'll bring it in, and clearly he's going to stay out there and run a little bit. Now he starts to put the foot down a little bit. Dave Vilwock. Dave Vilwock is on the clock in the U27, the Miss Apollo. And I wonder if while he's going down there to the lower corner, the thought in the back of the mind is, wow, so this is what Steve David had all those years when I was trying to run him down.
This thing's a Cadillac.
This thing's a nice boat.
Boy, and I just want to take a minute to say hi to Larry Oberto. I'm sure he's watching his old boat and going, man, I love that thing. That's always been his pride and joy.
Yeah, Larry, the boat looks awesome.
Yes,
and I don't have to tell you that. He's thinking, look at the boat ride up the backstretch. He's got it up on its toes a little bit there. Nice and solid on absolutely perfect water conditions here on the Ohio River.
One of the winningest holes for sure.
It is indeed. This is our second winningest hole in the history of the sport. 2 wins behind our number 1 boat. I'm going to step back, Brent.
Yeah,
I'll get a
let's go
speed.
back.
I'll get a speed on this lap. You can stay out there. I'll get it for you.
Yeah.
We'll have it here. 132.971. Brent, I'm assuming you got that speed in your ear. I'm helping out the other folks here on the tower and communicating with the radio station and the PA guys, and just making sure everybody gets the speed. Dave's pulled his foot here on this lap. Won't be near as fast.
His timing mark now. We'll see if he's going to go for that or.
That would be perfect for Super Dave. Okay, I took a decent lap. Now let's get ready to go racing.
Yeah, he doesn't need any over 130, but
no.
Yep. Now it's just strategy and trying to get his timing marks right.
And there he put the foot down, I think, and he's going to come way on the outside here. Yeah, just about the apex buoy. He decided it was time to go. Dave Vilwock, U27 Miss Apollo.
I didn't get an exact time, but it's a pretty quick run to the start from the exit pin. Yeah, Dave's playing around a little bit, getting his timing marks.
Did you get that speed there, young man?
Yeah, we could report it. It was 108, but, again, when you're getting your timing marks, it doesn't matter.
That's all it was.
Yep.
He's doing the same thing again. See if he doesn't take a different line. He was clearly on the outside that time.
Yeah, and it's interesting. As a driver, you want to get your timing marks not just from lane 1, but from lane 2, lane 3, lane 4. You never know where you're going to be.
Right.
So that you have to make those adjustments. And Yeah, it looks like he's going to be in lane 3 this time coming through instead of 4.
I'm keeping an eye on our U6 Miss Madison that has made its way back. Yeah, Dave's going to bring it back home.
Yep.
And the Miss Madison is back to the dock, and they are dropping the slings down to that one. We'll see if they do the same for the 27. Sometimes they've been known to just make a quick adjustment on a boat and send it right back out.
Yeah, and just that cowling coming loose, want to get that button back down, but I'm sure they're ready to rock and roll again.
So there is the new color scheme on the U27 of Miss Apollo, and as Brent was saying, and I said, I like it. I think the gold adds a little special trim to it there.
A little pop to it, yeah.
I like it a lot.
Okay, that's true.
That's a good point there. The stat man pointing out in our ear that right there in the pit area, you have the youngest driver in H1 Unlimited, that being Brandon Kennedy, and just going past him is the oldest driver in H1 Unlimited. It's a little scary when we talk about the oldest driver on the circuit, and I got him beat.
Well,
Brandon Kennedy, we're going to get from the stat man here the birthday. So we're going to get exactly
okay.
July the 16th, 1992.
Wow.
Oh.
Was it in 92? I thought so.
Wow.
I thought so with the course dry, right? Yeah.
That was Dave's first race. Yeah, so Dave's first race was September of 1992. Brandon Kennedy's birthday was July 16th, 1992. Oops.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, so I'm going to ask our version of co-pilot, our stat man.
Yeah.
So the question I have for you is, who was the youngest qualified unlimited hydroplane driver, and by how much? Any idea?
I know.
I think I know, but I don't know if I know the age.
I think I know too, and
Okay.
I think I can hit the age.
Brad's like, me. Is Billy?
That's where I'm going.
Billy Schumacher?
Billy Shoemaker.
And what was the age? Do you know?
17 or 18.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
What was the boat? Cutie Radio.
Okay, see?
Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Cutie Radio, Billy Schumacher. I'm going with that one.
Thank you, H1 co-pilot, and thank you, Brad Luce. I appreciate it. Yeah, very good.
Well, it didn't take long for our broadcast to degenerate into a trivia show.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. Well, now we can hear the GP starting to warm up, and there's just a roar to the GPs, and I know that boat very well. That's the GP15, Old Trapper Beef Jerky, driven by Greg Hopp, and
You've spent a lot of time behind that steering wheel.
I have, and I've spent some time sweeping floors and polishing boats, anything I could do to get some seat time. So.
If I've got this right, and I know darn well I do, you like to refer to Mr. Miyagi down there. Tell a little bit about where that all came from.
Well, when I first came to the shop, he's like, so you want to drive, huh? And I said, yeah, I'd love to. And he handed me the mop and the broom and said, sweep the whole the whole shop. And there's a lot of dust in the hop shop. So I swept it, and I said, what else? And he said, well, now you can work on cleaning these bolts. And so there was a methodical way that he brought me in, just like Mr. Miyagi. But
wax on,
yeah,
wax off.
He really taught me the way, and proud to see how well they're still doing.
Yeah, they just keep coming back.
They do.
Every year, and they're competitive.
Yep.
The boat's fast.
Someone asked me in the hotel, it's like, wow, that's such an old boat, but they have redone it so many times. I'd say maybe 15% of the boat is still the original. I mean, they redo the decks every couple of years. They're always putting in new hardware, so they really keep that boat in pristine shape, and it takes a lot of work, but proud of that team.
And they always do a great job of posting their work on Facebook.
Yes, they
you can
do.
see what they're doing. And
engine fires.
Yep.
Yep.
And you can tell it's a hard-working crew. They work hard, and as you know, everybody thinks this is great. I want to be part of one of these teams. I want to be in the pit area. I want to go through the parade.
Yeah.
But what they don't talk about is those cold nights in the shop
There's
in
some
December,
work to get to the parade.
January, February. It's cold, it's dark, you're painting engine parts.
That's right. Yep. Oh, we'd love it.
So we are being told by Statman that we need to head back to our desk. And we have a very special guest who's going to come up and join us. Statman's going to fill me in my headset some of the statistics with regards to this particular individual because I am not sure of some of it, and he's looking at me like I have two heads, so we may be making some of this up on the go. There you go. So we'll give you that little bit of a hint there that our next guest won the APBA Gold Cup at the Statman's first race. But we are going to be joined here on our little studio platform by a man who really needs no introduction. His name is Mark Tate. And boy, if that name doesn't just conjure up things like Winston Eagle and Smokin' Joe and all that good kind of stuff, Mark's getting the headset on here, and we'll make sure we can hear each other, and he's wired up and ready to go. And I think we've got him ready to go now. Mark, you're live with us here. Mark Tate. Mark, welcome to Madison, Indiana, my friend. How are you?
Good, Brad. Thank you very much.
When was the last time you were here?
Last year,
oh,
as
so
a
you were
spectator.
here. There you go. well, you didn't come by and say hi to me, so I didn't know you were here.
No, I laid pretty low.
Yes, I remember I ran into you, however, in the Tri-Cities. We had a good conversation there. But you raced here many, many times. Talk to me a little bit about your experiences in Madison. And the reason I ask about that is because Andrew was up here, and he made the comment. He says, I think maybe I spent more 4th of Julys here in this town than I did back home.
Probably
that
true.
would be because of you.
Absolutely. Back when I was racing, Andrew and my other son Brent, they used to ride their big wheels around in the pits and stuff, and they used to love to ride in the parade and be a part of all the activities.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of activities in this town. It is much more than just a race on the water.
It is. I mean, the committee here does a great job. They got bands playing Friday, Saturday nights. They have, the carny food that you can get that's really, really good. And, then the main event with the race. And they've grown the race over the years. They brought in the Grand Prix, some 5-liters, some 2.5s, and they're really making, even the skiffs, they're making a real spectacle of the race these days.
Yeah, I think that's been part of the problem in the past because of our boats and how they run, you've got to have time between the heats, and you got to have an hour between the heat. Well, and for so many years, the fan just sat there for an hour. But now the thought is, let's fill it up with other classes of boats. Put something on the water. And to your point, they're doing a fine job of that.
Yeah, I think they're doing an excellent job of bringing in other venues on the water and showing the fans of really what boat racing has to offer besides just Unlimiteds.
Yeah. I was just thinking when you first started and you got to see Brandon go out there for the first time, maybe just take us back when you first got qualified. What was the feeling? What was going through your heart?
Well, believe it or not, when I got qualified, you didn't have to run so many laps and go a certain speed and everything. And I'd never been in the boat. Jim Harvey hired me with the Oboy Alberto in 1990.
Okay.
We went directly to Miami to the very first race.
Jump in, kid.
And we went to go out and test, and the boat, we had problems, and Jim was going through everything. And my first heat, I had Hanauer in the Circus, and I don't remember if it was Deeth or Cropfield, I think, in the Bud. And I had to go to clear the outside and had a clean run. I didn't have to stay back or nothing. And I nailed the start and got to the first turn. Those guys pulled me really good. And I got to the first turn, and I seen them wakes. They're two fin waters come together.
No.
You know what I did? I backed off.
Okay.
And I muddled through there. I didn't think any boat would go through that kind of water. And we finished third. I came in, and Harvey goes, what a great start. He goes, well, what happened in the first turn? I said, holy shit, Jim. When I got almost to the apex and their wakes came together and the water was that deep, he goes, I didn't think a boat would go through there, and I backed off. And Harvey looked at me, and he turned around and walked off the dock, and I left me there. And I was like, oh, maybe I'm going to get fired already.
Yeah, well, I'll say that sure changed over the years because you would put your nose in just about anywhere. I remember you in the Winston Eagle and watching a lot of your races. Hard charger always. Yeah.
We were I loved my ride, and I loved my position, and I loved working with Jim Lucero. The guy really, really taught me a lot about boat setups, propellers, balance. was a really key instrumental part of developing me even more when I came from where I came into the sport.
Yep.
And then with Steve Woomer, the type of owner he was, and the sponsorship package that we had, we were, we always knew we were a number 2 boat to Budweiser. We weren't going to outspend them. We weren't going to out-employ them with people and stuff. But so when we won, it was really, really gratifying to us, and we worked really hard for it, and it really kept our team focused because we knew we had to do something extra.
That's right.
To compete at their level.
I remember Hanauer making the comment after he raced against Budweiser and then started driving for them, and he goes, they are so good and so professional at everything they do. He said it makes all those previous wins feel that much better that you were able to beat them.
Yeah.
Kind of the same thing you just said.
Absolutely. And I had what I felt a great career for Mark Tate.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed every aspect of it. I had a lot of fun, and it's even more rewarding now for me to sit back and watch Andrew progress and do the things that he's doing, Brent. And it's very rewarding, not only me but my wife.
Sure. No, that's where I really wanted to go with you, is just being a dad, and obviously Sandy too, just watching your son out there doing his thing. And he even said, hey, I didn't know that I was going to be an unlimited driver at first. That wasn't his ultimate goal, and to see it blossom into this, it's got to be special.
It is. It's very special to us. And when we take the same seat as my mom and dad did, we sit back. He's here to do a job. He's here to represent a sponsor, Goodman Realtor, and work with Mike Hansen and the team and develop the team and do the best that they can. And do I got experience as a driver? Yeah.
Yep.
But it's different today. They have different rules, different regulations, weights on the boats.
Yeah.
Things have changed tremendously. Can you sit back and watch things and understand it? Absolutely you can, because you've done it. But the sport has really elevated of how fast the boats are running.
People don't realize that.
Yeah, with the least amount of fuel that they got, the weight and the N2 restrictions they got now. So my hat goes off to these teams of how fast they actually got these boats running today and how well they handle.
Yeah, it absolutely is amazing, because we thought some of those non-fuel restricted records would never get touched, and now we're either in the neighborhood or we've dropped a couple of them. And just this past recent running here, your son Andrew joined you in that 170 mile per hour club. That had to be kind of fun.
I don't relate to things like when people say that, hey, you're the only two that did this. Well, okay, but it's really cool that my son did it, and he actually went faster than me. So, hats off to him.
Sure.
I mean, that's accomplishment to the programs.
It's an accomplishment to the programs, and it's a great accomplishment for the both of you, and you guys also in that same vein. And apparently that maybe won't be as cool to you to talk about it, but you're the only father-son to have your name on that APBA Gold Cup, and there's nothing more special in our sport than winning that oldest active motorsports trophy in the world.
Absolutely. The first one I won in Detroit was just an amazing day. And then to watch my son win his first one in Detroit was probably even more special to me than making that accomplishment for yourself, because, you always want to see your child's to succeed and do better than you.
Right.
Yeah.
And my son has done a tremendous job at that.
He's doing well. He's doing really well. We were talking about Grandma Tate earlier, so we know about her. We may actually even interview her too, but I know she was one of your biggest fans, one of his biggest fans. Talk to us a little bit about Grandma Tate.
My mom, my dad raced, my grandfather raced, I had a couple uncles that raced. I met my wife racing. So racing is a part of our family for years. But my mom, she had her little flip pad, and she knew who finished where, what the points were at every event we ever went to. She probably knew things before the scorers might have known things.
She was the stat man back then.
She was stat man. There you go.
All right.
And she's a tremendous fan of Andrew's. She was a tremendous fan of mine. My mom's 89 years old, coming up on 90 here in a couple of months, and she'll be here this weekend.
Okay.
Watching her grandson do what he loves to do.
That's what it's all about. And thanks for opening it up and just telling us the stories. I think the fans need to understand the behind the scenes and how important it is to have that family support.
It is. I think anything you do in life, you have to have good family support.
That's right.
If it's racing on your own personal agendas in life, if that's work or being part of Cub Scouts with your kids or whatever it is, that's, you start to come full circle in life and you realize that, hey, I'm there when my kids to change his diapers and work with them and then develop them into racing and then at points they move on. They've came full circle and then it's our position to step back and cherish it.
That's right.
And it's a great feeling.
Oh, outstanding.
And we all feel like, a guy like Mark Tate or something, he doesn't drive anymore, he doesn't have that fun. It's a different type of enjoyment, but it's equally as important.
Equally as gratifying too.
And you've had a family that's been involved for a long, long time. I got cookies last year, personally delivered from Grandma Tate a year ago.
How about that?
So if she's listening, they were really good. I'll take a few more this year.
Wink, wink, message. Yeah, got it.
Are you going to share them with Brett?
Well, it depends on how the day goes and how many she brings.
I'll talk to Grandma Tate myself.
I have wanted to ask you, this is a little bit off topic, but I've wanted to ask you this for a long time because, as you know, I've got that Winston Eagle Youngblood thing on the wall. We're commemorating your 170-mile-an-hour lap. But that painting isn't really correct because you got a horizontal stabilizer on the back of that thing, and I believe when we ran that lap, you didn't have the wing on.
Absolutely, we didn't have the wing, and the funny thing is that at one time R.J. Reynolds was talking about maybe setting a straightaway record. So every test session when we would go over to Pasco, we would test low rake propellers, no wing, different weight balances, and try and run the boat and see how fast, just kind of guide where the boat setup was and stuff in case we ever wanted to run a straightaway record. So we knew we had this setup in the bag. How well was it going to go through a corner? We didn't know. That was a total unknown there.
Oh my gosh.
We got there late because we had to repair the boat from the weekend before damage, and we got in late and everybody had run, and it was the last run of the day. And Budweiser was actually hanging over the crane while we were on the water because they were hoping maybe to get out one more time. And we went out and put that 170 lap down. And when I was going down the back chute, I knew I was going really fast. And when I got to that rooster tail turn, I said, okay, it's going to be golden or we're going to have a hell of a ride.
We're going to find out real quick how well this thing turns.
And that thing went through the corner, and I accelerated up off the corner, and I remember Lucero said that was the most amazing thing that he remembered. He says, you cleared the grandstands. You could not hear or see the boat, but you could hear the water trickling coming down. He goes, I knew you were running fast. I get down to the first turn, and I'm going into the first turn, and I'm just clipping the buoys, and I said, man, are we smoking? And I get about 3/4 of the way through the corner, and Lucero tells me to slow down.
Okay.
And I said over the radio, Jim, the Gold Cup is 2-lap qualifying. He goes, you just ran a lap over 170, back it down. So I backed down and came up the back chute, came through the corner, and I slowed down quite a bit, but a reasonable speed. And we still didn't run 168 mile an hour. We probably had 173, 174 mile an hour lap going on that second lap.
That is moving.
But I went into the pit turn at 200. When we looked at the data, I went into that pit turn at 211 mile an hour.
Oh my gosh!
And we sustained that speed for like almost 5 seconds up the back chute.
Wow. That is moving.
That is flying.
It was fast.
So you mentioned the straightaway and possibly going for the straightaway record. Was that something you were on board with?
Back then, I was on board for it because it was in my contract.
I got paid a lot of money.
Yeah, I signed for it. Yeah.
That'll do it. It's funny how that works, isn't it?
But R.J. Reynolds always felt that they wanted to do it, but then they didn't want to do it. They understood the danger in it and that kind of stuff, and they were getting out of the sport what they needed. They didn't need that record, so we never achieved to go after it.
And then it became the Smokin' Joe, and then we went close call.
Yeah,
you had a good long career with Woomer there, and a lot of success.
Yeah, 9 years with Steve Woomer, 12 years totally racing unlimiteds. After the close call years and Steve died, I took a that year off in 98, and then I came back and helped Harvey for a year and a half.
Okay.
And in that same time frame, I drove one race for Fred Leland where Pico wanted to drive two boats, have two boats in Detroit, their hometown race. And
Sure.
I went out there and waddled around in the second equipment. It wasn't that fun, but
Okay.
but it was a boat race. Man.
It was a boat race.
Hey, you're in a boat, boat race.
You don't
Yeah,
turn it down.
that's right.
So, well, go ahead, Brent. I know you got something you want to talk to him about.
Actually, you mentioned Jim Lucero. I got to meet him later in life, and I just was such a gracious man. Like, hey, call me if you have questions. That relationship had to have been really special. I would just love to hear a bit more about your relationship you had.
Well, it's funny, my first year as a rookie, Jim was very intimidating, of his posture, his looks,
He's
and
tall,
everything.
tall guy. I was like,
yeah, and he always looked like he was grumpy, and so I never knew how to read him. So my first year was a big learning curve to learn Jim Lucero, and throughout the first year, I'd say, Jim, we need to drop a little percent, 2% in gear, 3%. We're not. Budweiser is killing us off the corner.
right.
And he would always look at me and he'd give me the peace sign. and he'd turn around and walk away. Well, the second year into the sport, we're talking through things and having a conversation, and he did that to me again, and I grabbed his arm, and he turned around real quick and he looked at me and he goes, "What?" I said, "Jim, what does that mean?" He goes, "I don't think so, and no way." And he left me
Baseball
standing.
signs, huh?
He
Yeah.
left me standing there on the dock, thinking like, "Holy smokes!
Oh man.
You put it to me for over a year and a half." But anyhow,
Wow.
Jim was so knowledgeable.
Yeah.
He was.
And I think he's helped me when my boys started getting into racing and racing outboards. Of
Yep.
Understanding the balance of the boats and how to build a race boat, where it would need more lift. And now I'm even doing, so I don't build the boats,
Yep.
but I do design the outboards. And my boys, my youngest boy, Brent, races them. And but from there, I've got into building motors, doing my own propellers now.
Wow.
And
Wow.
so a lot of the things that Jim would discuss with me and talk about when we're on the race course on propellers, well, we'll change the pitch, or we'll drop the gear but keep the same diameter and pitch. And he would relate in layman terms.
Just going to turn that up a little bit right there.
He would relate
There
in
we go.
layman terms of really how we were
It's the
setting
cord
up
wrapped
the
around.
boat and what we were doing.
I got you.
Get the cord out of there.
There you go.
We don't want you to hang yourself here.
See, I'm a goddamn rookie.
No,
Don't even
no,
know how to. But Jim was a great ambassador to boat racing
Yeah.
and to me. I really looked up to him. I had a great relationship with him through the 9 years I was there. And I wouldn't know the things about setting up boats and understanding boats today without that gentleman.
I believe that. Yeah, special person.
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say the Tate name has a very solid legacy in this sport. And actually, for me sitting here not knowing everything you're doing these days, it's really good to hear that all continues. It keeps you off the street,
Yep.
but it keeps you involved with the sport, and the Tate name keeps going besides him.
Yep.
And I'm pointing at him. He's standing right over there. It's good to hear you're still involved. Keeps you young, keeps you going.
Yeah, it does. It's always been a family affair for us, and it's something I was born into, and I look forward to every weekend that I can to go to a boat race.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it's an unlimited, an inboard, or an outboard race. It's a cherished deal.
You coming out west?
I will not be able to make it out west this year.
Was it something I said a year ago in the Tri-Cities or something?
Not at all. I got a business to run, me and my son Brent, and we're trying to run for High Points for Brent. He's won the Winter Nats. We won 2 Winter Nats, 2 divisionals so far, and we're going to try and win. We'll go to nationals here end of July, and try and win a couple national events, and we're shooting for a High Point championship or 2 too. So Dedicated my summer
Good.
pretty much to him.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
Nope, your priorities are right.
Yeah.
I know Brent and myself, on behalf of H1, want to thank you for taking the time to come up here and join us, give us a few words. I got to ask you one quick question, because I asked Andrew in Guntersville when we were doing an interview, so nobody's listening to this, okay? It's just you and Brent can't even hear this. But I said, Andrew, I said, you in the 91, Dad and Smoking Joe, I said, who wins?
Oh, boy.
Whoa.
Oh, no.
That was an off the record thing. I'll let you think on that one for a while.
A dead heat.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now there's a politically correct
Good
answer.
answer. Good
I
answer.
like that. Mark, thank you very much for coming up here and joining us. Enjoy the weekend and enjoy the family being here and enjoy Madison, Indiana.
Yeah, Madison was always a special place because we had Kenny and Kim Warsher, local people here in Madison that worked on our boat, and Kenny traveled with the team and he was a very part of it. So even though I never drove the Miss Madison or whatever, but it was still a very special place for our team and our hearts with the Warsher family.
Very good. Well, enjoy, my friend. Thank you very,
Thank you.
very much.
Great interview.
Mark Tate, one of the great drivers in H1 Unlimited history, and still active in the sport, still active with building boats and keeping the family name involved. And it just keeps coming. The hits just keep coming here at H1 Unlimited, because now we're going to get the headset on the man of the hour right here in Madison, Indiana. Brandon Kennedy from the U6 Miss Madison is going to join us here as soon as we get the headset on him. And Brandon is good. He's live. That's what
Live and in person, ready to do some
Welcome
dance moves.
to
What's
Madison,
up?
Indiana,
thank
man.
you.
How
Thank
are
you.
you doing?
Oh, doing good now.
I'll bet you are. So finally.
Yeah, finally.
Finally. You and I have talked a couple of times. We've sat in front of a camera, but this time it's after you ran 3 very, very good laps in the boat. Just explain the experience and the feeling.
It's a cool feeling. For one, it started when that boat got lifted off the trailer. To hear the fans cheer for that, my anxiety went through the roof then. Like, this means more than just driving a boat, which I knew, but that moment really solidified it. And then getting out there, they kept trying to work me up. I'm not sure how hard to push it right off the bat.
Sure.
And then they're like, push it. I'm like, okay, I'm going to put my foot down and I'm not going to lift. And that's what it was for 3 laps till the cowling was coming off. But it's a rush. They're a lot different than Grand Prix, a lot more different than I thought they would be. You got to turn it's not a hard turn, but you got to turn in before the turn because it take a little bit to get going.
That's right.
It's really cool, and obviously this course is tricky, as it taught me in turn 1.
Yeah, you got a little lump there. I was like, oh, shoot. Yeah.
So what happened? Was it just a big lump?
I hit my own roller. I was
Okay.
kind of moving around the race course. My mom was telling me speeds on the radio, so I was just trying to kind of see, all right, what if I do this? Will it make it a faster speed or slower speed? And I saw it coming, but at that point I couldn't turn tighter and go straight, so I just kind of hit it.
Yeah, so, again, we were so proud of you and getting a chance to interview you in Gunnersville. I could tell, you realize the importance of the moment, and it probably even grew tenfold today. Maybe just talk us a bit more about the fans that you meet and how special that is.
It's real special. I went golfing with a lot of guys this morning. I did a little golf outing for Madison, and that just solidified how everyone around here is into this boat. And walking down, my camper is all the way past the bridge, so I got to pass all the fans going back there. And it's crazy to not be around too long yet. I could only imagine what Jimmy Shane went through, and he probably couldn't go anywhere like a NASCAR driver, but it's been a lot of fun. I mean, everyone you meet, they know a lot about the sport.
That's right.
So you're not really explaining the nuances of the sport. They know. They almost know more than me sometimes, especially when it comes to a turbine.
So we're all assuming that you hit the hole down there, the cowling popped up on the one side. That's why you brought it back. Was there any other problem with the boat?
Nope, everything was good with the boat, just cowling. We can't seem to lose another one, so we'll get it bolted back on. They're going through everything, doing checks, and I think we're going to try to make another 7 or 8 laps this next run and try to get most of them knocked out before tomorrow.
So the idea is to run still this afternoon again?
Yep, that's it. So I'm sure they're working on it to button it back up and maybe go back out there today.
Well, that's got to feel good. I mean, they left the pits open for you, so you can get it all done. It's like, all right, the king of Madison needs to come do his thing.
A little pressure on there.
Well, yeah, I guess that is true. Like shooting a free throw with no one there.
Yep, exactly.
Well, I'll tell you, you're in the boat, and so you're having all of that emotion go through you, and it's just you there behind the steering wheel and where your mind went. But what we all got to see was all of these fans. And I made the comment, there is nobody sitting down. And Brent and I are sitting here talking. All of a sudden, everybody on the tower just started walking this way. I'm thinking, if we're going to watch this run, we better get out of here.
Yeah.
It was really, really a cool moment.
It is cool. I think anytime you get a new driver in the sport and get them qualified, obviously, Brent, you've been trying and had your struggles, so you know what it's like, what I went through in Gunnersville, but it gives that sense of excitement. It's kind of what I think H1 needs is maybe a road to H1. You follow somebody through the ranks, and then they get a shot in one of the boats that isn't maybe the top-tier team, but gets them that opportunity, just like you see in IndyCar. They have the road to Indy, and obviously this opportunity for me is really great after running a GP for so many years. But, yeah, it's a lot of pressure being here, but, hey, nobody puts more pressure on them than I put on myself.
Of course. You know, there's a couple different directions I'll go with you. One, you know, you're doing an amazing job on social media and really pumping up the team and the town and what you're doing. And then also there's something called Chasing Tails that you host as well. And so we love how you're really bringing the sport to more fans and more people that would never have heard about the sport. Maybe what drives your passion there?
Just being involved in it since I was a day old, and obviously fourth generation into it, that I know how important it is to the people that come to the races, but a lot of people that are on social media don't see it. Yep. They might see a viral clip, but then they're like, oh, that's a cool boat. So we're trying to do more to show them what it is, the engines and the podcasts. I've had so many people, even older boat racers, like, I haven't been involved in the sport, but I watched your podcast, and now I'm hooked back on the sport, and it's just cool. It's me, my cousin Bobby, Kyle, and Austin. Yep. And we just have fun.
You guys are a bunch of characters.
We just let loose and we talk about what we want to talk about. So it's a lot of fun.
That's kind of what Brent and I were talking about here when we were saying what we were going to do here. And he goes, so where are we going to go with all this? And I said, I don't know. Unique's going to bring some people up here. We just have some fun with
That's it.
We just talk boat racing.
That's it. The amount of stories that are brought around. Obviously, you just had Mark Tate up here. I mean, that guy has so many stories throughout all of boat racing, not just H1 Unlimited. And a lot of these people, they got war stories that you will never forget, and they're good, funny ones, or even just getting to the races. That seems to be where the main stories are.
Yeah.
So you go out, let's say you go out and run another 6-7 laps, and then you guys feel real good if you can get, maybe to 10 on the day. It's just the fun's just starting. You're Grand Marshal in the parade. Tell me about that. When did you learn?
They told me when I was up here in I think it was May when I came to do an event. It was kind of like, this is what's happening. Keep it quiet. Really cool, but they haven't told me what I'm doing. I'm like, I don't know. Do I do like a gentleman start your engines?
Singing.
Do I singing competition? I'm like, do I wave a flag? What do I do?
I think yes to all of the above.
I think I'm gonna
smile and wave.
Jeff Ayler was just telling me he's mad. He's like, I lived here my whole life. I've never got to do that. I said, get on the boat with me. You can do the announcing. Get a megaphone.
That's right.
That'll be a special moment for sure.
Yeah, it's gonna be real cool. Like I said, I love this community. I came here in 2021, and I would never miss it again. It does lead up to our biggest Grand Prix race of the year in Valleyfield, so it's one of those things we always, you got to save your stuff for there. But now you see the GP classes here strong. We know this is a big event, a great town to be in, and that parade is a big part of that.
Yeah. So maybe on a personal note, I watch your Facebook, and looks like your kids are getting into racing a little bit. Maybe talk to us a little bit about that, and then just racing in general. I know you love it.
Yeah, so my 6-year-old, he started go-karts last year and had a lot of fun with it. This year we had a little break, and we're like, let's go to the track. It was a night race, past his bedtime.
Okay.
And he was having a ball this time. He was fist bumping all his buddies, enjoying it a lot more, and it was really cool to see. Like, we're not there in this sport. We're kind of trying to win. We're very competitive.
Yeah.
We've done it for so long, but there it's more relaxed. Let him have fun. He bumped some girl off the course a couple times. It seemed like they had a magnet because every race they hit each other. And I'm like, I was waiting for Dad to come at me, but luckily it wasn't that kind of thing.
Sorry, that was my son.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of just hid in a shell.
Yeah. No, it's fun to see our kids out racing, and love that your son was out there. I saw those posts, and yeah, it's got to be proud for you to see that as well. Does he have interest in hydros or more just cars?
Yeah, actually, with the 2.5 stock we built that's here this weekend, that my cousins Kyle and Austin drive.
Yeah.
He was there when we were building it at the shop, so he always said, Daddy, that's my boat. It's my boat. So it's got a little sticker on the back that says Theo's boat. Now the younger one's like, well, which one's my boat? I'm like, I don't know. Maybe we have to build another one.
Working on that. That's good.
So far, everybody that we have brought up here to talk to us has brought up the family aspect.
Yep.
It really is all the support you get from the family. And I know as you get older with your kids that you're talking about, you will turn that back into the support of them. It really is the big payout at the end.
That's it. I mean, we always say how many other families get to go on a vacation with their family 8-10 weeks out of the year. I mean, it's my parents, my grandparents are here, my Aunt Patty, Kyle, and Austin are here. Bobby's back home working, but he's always in the racing too. So you're with your whole family 8 times out of the year. Sometimes it's not a good thing. We probably should be separated a little more, but most of the time it's a good thing.
Well, we appreciate, number one, you taking the time to come up here and talk to us. We're very proud of you. I know this entire community. You are going to have so much fun tonight.
Yeah.
You've been in the parade before,
You're gonna
now,
be
right?
worn
But, yeah. Now you are the focal point.
Yeah.
Of the parade. And if you go out and lay down 6-7 more laps, they're going to go nuts.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
It's going to be very special. I'm going to let you get out of here because you got to zip that thing up. I've been watching to see if the crane's moving.
Yep, me too.
It is moving a little bit.
Yep.
So go down
Yeah.
there and get us another 6 or 7 more,
Thank
will
you.
you?
We appreciate it.
He is Brandon Kennedy of the U6 Miss Madison, and he's not done yet on the day.
kicking
Go
butt,
get some more
kicking
laps,
butt.
man.
I like it.
Appreciate it very much.
Love it.
Oh, man, that was good.
Special.
Yeah, very special.
Is Jeff next?
Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, this guy. I know this guy.
He's not shy.
I know him, too.
Come
We'll
on,
go
Jeff.
back and show
Good
Brandon's
to see you,
boat
man.
there. This is that's what we, that's our transition picture.
Yes.
And so we're going to be joined by Jeff Bernard here, the GP79, the bad influence. It's bright orange. Yeah. What?
Jeff's live. He's ready.
Yeah, he is live. We've got him on here. It's a bright red boat. At least I think it is. I'm colorblind. How are you?
Orange-ish, yeah.
Good, how are you doing?
Welcome to Madison, my friend. How are things?
Doing all right.
How's
Been
the boat?
busy.
The boat ready to go?
The GP's ready to go. I thought we were going to get a chance to test here in a little bit, but I guess we're not. We're going to get ready for the parade now.
So you are driving that boat. You got the other boat that you're playing around with back home. You got the wife involved in the project. We saw the posts on there, but I guess Mr. Labrie is out spraying some paint this week.
I wish it was this week. We weren't quite ready.
Okay.
I think they're going to try on Monday. And hopefully by Wednesday it's painted, and by next weekend bolting stuff back together on it.
Well, you did a lot to that boat, so maybe talk us through that. I know, I think you found some things as you were digging through. Maybe talk to us about what you fixed.
Yeah, I mean, over the years, I've watched it. I stopped driving it in 2010 was the last time I drove T6. But over the years, had seen some stuff and stuff that they have repaired over the years, and
Yep.
been in situations, crashes where stuff had gotten repaired and maybe not went back and been re-prepared. So when we showed up there, just looking around and put together kind of a list of things I'd like to see done.
Yep.
One of them was take the whole right side of the boat, the deck off, and once you do that, there's no
going
no
back.
stopping what you find and what you see.
Yeah.
So we got in there. There's some broken frames and some repairs from last year after Tri-Cities that to make Seafair that was repaired quickly. So while we were in there, we addressed all that, fixed that, and we got to a point where we kept putting the camera in the spar and really couldn't tell what was going on in there. Saw some stuff we didn't quite like,
Okay.
but no big signs other than the air trap on the right side. Showed that the spars should be moving around, but we couldn't find anything on that side of the cockpit wrong with it, with the camera. But then it just became the point where we're so far apart right now that we'd be silly not to cut it out, just to make sure. And then we found it on the left side that it was completely broken on the left side in the left air trap. So it was a good thing we did that. But yeah, a lot of work. Whole winter's work of work in the last 4 months. And it started to come to the point where if it gets done, it gets done. Obviously, we want to make Tri-Cities. That was always the goal. But
Sure.
if we missed it, at least we got the boat going. And I want to get in the water this year to test. And, we're kind of rebuilding the whole program there. So get it ready for next year. But if we had to miss it, to not rush it, then that was going to be what it is. But they're still hell-bent on making it to
Sure.
Tri-Cities right now.
Yeah, things have been announced, but I'm with you. Like, do it once, do it right. That's really important.
Yeah, and making it look really nice and do it one time so we can go into the off season this year and make wings, fairings, cowlings, canard.
Fully ready.
Focus on that. Flip it upside down. There's some stuff I want to get to on the bottom of the boat. Make sure that's perfect, and then paint it up. So focus on that. So if we do good right now and make it look nice, where we're not messing with that in the winter, we can open us up for doing even more and better stuff in the winter.
Yep. That sounds
And
good.
that's a hull you've had some success with.
Yes, he has.
Back in the day, you had success here on this river.
Yeah.
And you've also worked very closely with Tom Anderson before. That's got to give you some sense of security, I assume.
Yeah. When I ran that boat from 2006 to 2010, and then 2011 season we decided to switch over to T5 and give that a try, and then left the team after the 11 season. But yeah, I had a lot of up and downs with that boat. It's the only boat I've blown over in an unlimited twice. But it's the only boat I got 3 wins in. And Tom, 2006, Tom was my crew chief, or 2008 to 2011 was my crew chief. And I've always worked well with Tom. Tom's a lot more mellow than I am, so I think we're a good equalizer.
Yin and yang.
I'm quiet until I'm not, and Tom can kind of bring me down and with the talk in the truck, and make whether he's lying to me or not, he can make me feel better. So it all works out good.
Talk about that, the GP. Your GP 79 is, there's your boat the fans are looking at there.
Yeah,
So
looking
it
good.
looks to me like it's about ready for paint.
Yeah, that was a quick get it into primer and see what was needed to be done on bodywork. So Jimmy got over there a couple days ago and looked at it and was like, well, we can paint it, but it ain't perfect. And so they're spending a little bit more time tomorrow body working it and getting the shop completely cleaned out, dirt free, so that they can paint it, make it look good.
Well, and to your point, you've taken the extra time to do it right so far. Well, do it right all the way down to the right paint scheme.
Yeah, and I haven't, in all these interviews, I haven't really talked about Rob, but man, Rob gets a lot of flack for not bringing the boat back east all the years that he's been missing. But really, his business doesn't do anything back here, unfortunately. But it's not that he doesn't want to come. He wants his stuff look perfect, run good, and doesn't want it to embarrass him. And that's our goal, is to get it back up to where T6 is used to running. And he's spent a lot of money so far.
Okay.
He's not told us no yet on
He's
anything.
investing.
So we've had pretty much everything that we've wanted for this year. We've gotten. So it's been good so far, and I think that come 2026 we'll be racing full time again. That's definitely the plan, the goal, and I don't see Rob changing his mind on that. He's pretty happy. He hasn't seen the boat in this state, and he's been worried about the hull for a while. So it's all a good thing. I think we'll be back full time.
You taught me a lot about the hull when I was down and saw you in the shop and the deck was off, and teaching me about doublers and showing me everything that was going on in there. I'd really never had that look before. But you're fixing it right, and you were telling me that this boat should be back to where it was in its heyday.
I think so. All the doublers are gone. There was like 7 doublers in there.
Yep.
So hopefully we lost some weight in the process. I can't imagine how we didn't. And it should definitely be stronger. And in unlimiteds, it don't matter. Over the years, you got to take them apart, get them tight again, and that's worth some speed right there. And Tom's going to be focusing on motors, and hopefully after the season he can 100% just focus on motors and gearboxes.
Got it.
And yeah, we'll see. We're trying. I can tell you that. There's been a lot of long nights at the shop, and like I said, I had even had Krista one of the nights after work when the crew guys are working and stuff, but needed to get the seam tape on to have a chance, so she stepped in and helped, and we're trying our hardest. So if we don't we don't make it, it's not for lack of effort. That's for sure.
Nah, we believe that, but we also know you're after it too. You know, I was just thinking back, and we watched Brandon get out and trying to get qualified, and you probably remember when you had your opportunity. Maybe just take us back when it was your first time, and what were some of the feelings that you went through as your first time out in an unlimited?
It seems so long ago now.
I remember I met you that day. Yeah.
2005. I think I was 20. I wasn't even. No, I was. Yeah, I think I was 20.
Yeah, you were 20.
And old Leland boat. It's actually the boat we use as a display boat.
Which one was it?
It's called Lucky.
Lucky. Okay, that was Lucky.
It's typically the one that sits on I-5, but right now the 98's sitting out on display. The Lucky's over in Cle Elum in a shop, but kind of ironic that Rob owns that boat too.
Right.
But yeah, I remember the thing that Brandon's going through right now. It was Seafair, only Seafair one-shot deal in 2005, and trying to get the 10 laps before racing over 130. The other 5 laps back then we didn't. You could still race, but you had to start on out. Your restriction was just longer, so we got the 130 all those laps in the nick of time before racing, and then we started 2 or 3 heats on the outside. But remember racing Terry in the provisional heat, and just thinking going out there and running, not having a shot to win, and then we ended up pulling it off and started the first race as the trailer boat and found out that that's not fun.
Little lumpy, huh? Yeah, a
little soupy.
I can appreciate Brandon's probably, especially him being a Madison boat and being here in Madison, and this is a tough place to get your 10 laps over 130.
Yes, it is.
He's capable of doing it. If the boat is capable of doing it. You have to get out there now and look like he's got to run 8 in a row tomorrow morning.
A few more.
He better get a good night's sleep. I think the most when I did it in Seattle was 6 or 7.
Okay.
And
that was a lot, wasn't it?
I was a lot smaller than when I was 20, and my arms felt like they're going to fall off. So, but he could do it. I got faith in him.
He actually was telling us they hope to get back out.
Yeah. Oh,
he wants. Yeah. He says we run to see if we can get 6 or 7 more.
Yeah, you don't want to wait till the last test session and have to do 8 laps in a row. It's not fun, but you somehow can figure out a way to pull it out.
Yeah.
Muster the strength.
Yeah.
And I was telling him, then he's got to jump on a boat, get it out of here, and go play Grand Marshal in the parade.
Yeah.
Big day for that kid.
Yeah. Hopefully he'll have to not do a bunch of laps tomorrow before racing, because running the GP Unlimited thing, I've done that. That's not an easy task either. It gets draining, especially as hot as it is here.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Is it warm here?
It's warm. It's warm.
Got a bunch of Puget Sound guys here.
It's warm right now.
It's a little toasty. We've only got a couple of minutes left. They're talking in our ear. But talk a little bit about the GP. The boat looked, the only time I've seen it was down in Gunnersville. It ran like a rocket.
Yeah, we had some engine problems down there. We got kind of lucky with the wind. Unfortunately for us, we didn't want to see racing going on Sunday just so that we didn't dig ourselves a big hole, because we had a engine problem where we wouldn't have been able to race on Sunday. We've been working on it all day yesterday and most of the morning today, and I think we're back to about where we were in San Diego with the fuel system. So we were really hoping to get out there and test before the parade, just to get some data. But when it runs, it's fast. We just have not had good luck keeping them together. So hopefully we're closer on that, and we can tick off all the heats. It's really hard in that assigned lanes format.
Right.
Braking and heats puts you in a bad spot if you even make the final. So we want to try to be on the inside and come out here and give them something in the final heat and stay in the points battle for the challenge going into Valleyfield.
Sure.
So.
Well, we want to thank you for coming by, taking
you.
the time. I know, like you say, it's hot, but
Thank
you
you.
came up here and joined us. Good luck this weekend.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping we see you with the big boat in the Tri-Cities at the APBA Gold Cup.
Well, it won't be for lack of effort. And also, with the GP thing, thank you to the Dam family for sponsoring us here in Madison, and also Chandler Chevrolet helped us out. We're running both their stickers, and sponsorship back in Tri-Cities. Atomic Screen Printing always helping us. So just wanted to thank those guys while we had the opportunity here.
Yeah,
Wait a
they're
minute.
Part of the family.
Chandler
Yeah.
Chevrolet. Is that like that courtesy driver over there?
Yeah.
He come
Right there.
over and give you a hand. He's
Jeff
not.
Naylor.
He's not listening to
He-
us over there.
He didn't come put that. They gave me like the world's hardest sticker to put on. He didn't come down and help me put that on, but we got it on. It looks good actually. Big Chevy logo on the cowling, so pretty cool.
Good. Family here?
Family's here.
Very good.
Kids are here. The kids go home on Monday. Me and Krista stay the week and then head up to Valley Field if we can get out of here unscathed. So
Good.
big weekend next weekend.
Yeah.
And a big win this weekend. Thanks again for coming by. Have a good weekend. Good luck. We'll see you down the road. Enjoy.
All right. See you, dude.
It is.
See ya. Thank you.
Jeff Bernard, driver of the GP79, the Bad Influence, sponsored by the Dam family. And we appreciate him taking his time and coming over and talk to us. Keep us off camera.
Come on in. Sweet.
We are told we are all live, and if
Yes,
that's
we
true,
are.
Mr. Peabody, you should be able to hear us here. You got us in your ears?
Yeah, I got you.
Now you're pushing buttons over there.
Oh, yeah, I'm taking over.
Well, that's just
see,
fine,
we know
too.
how this works. Yep.
So there's more than just three personalities up here, as we've been discussing. You got Brent, you got Cory, you got myself, and a whole bunch of mosquitoes. And you're going to learn that real quick.
Yeah, lovely.
There's a whole bunch of them, but we're blaming Bernard for that.
Oh,
He brought
yeah.
Yeah.
Brought the stank over.
The trash talking already starts.
Yeah. We're in a different class. That's all right.
Not till later.
Not in a couple weeks. But,
Right.
you know.
That's right.
So how's Cory Peabody? How was the road trip? Uneventful?
Yeah, it was a great trip. We went a different route this time, and the roads were unbelievable. It was my first trip pulling the boat here, and the boat didn't move on the trailer, so that was a good thing. None of our boats moved. It was an awesome trip. Got here and got settled in, and we're ready to go boat racing.
There you go. And
But before we get off of that, I think people need to understand he drives the boat all the way here. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Some people know who follow your Facebook page,
Right.
but that's a big deal, man.
Yeah.
That's a lot of effort.
It actually is. I mean, we go with a lot of stuff. So we have 4 trucks. We have the truck that pulls the 8. We have the truck that pulls the 9. We have our data truck that pulls the media trailer. Then we have a Chevy pickup that pulls our merchandise trailer. So we're 4 trucks. I mean, it's like a quarter mile long going down the freeway, and we drive from about 5:30 in the morning till about 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. We try
Wow.
and hit like 800 miles a day with the trucks, and the biggest pain in the butt is finding a hotel that can accommodate that. We can pull in and stuff like that. That's not some little hood rat hotel. So
What's wrong with the hood rat hotel, man?
it's I'm an adult now. So
Okay, fair enough.
so we
Fair enough.
yeah, that's the hard part, but we've kind of got this new route we took, so we had to do a little bit of a research and figure that all out, but it worked out, and it was a good time, and I enjoy driving the truck with the guys, and my wife drives our personal truck with her merch trailer, and it's just it's what we do.
Yeah.
it's what you do. And I don't know who's shooting the video when you guys take off there in Richland at the man cave over there, but that does give a good idea of what that entourage looks like when you hit the road.
Yeah, it's got to be pretty sweet when they're looking at it going down the road. I mean, that's a lot of SR going down the road, a lot of silver. A lot of money, and
a lot of money.
Sir,
yeah.
thank you,
So
Daryl.
yeah, right.
Right?
It's a good time. Good to be a part of it.
I can honestly say I've had the entourage go by on I-70 and see him coming in the rearview mirror. He herds that thing. They keep it moving along.
Yeah, we don't get past very often. I'll tell you that.
Well, you confused me once. You said, "Yeah, I drive a Volvo," and I was like, "Really? You drive a Volvo?"
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Yep. I learned how to drive it on YouTube, actually.
Did you?
Yeah. I mean, when we got the truck, I started driving it, trying to figure it all out, and I got all right. But then, when you start having to it's different than driving a car,
Yeah, I
the way
bet.
the clutches and all that stuff work and stuff. So when what I didn't really know how to do it on my first trip to it. My wife's watching YouTube, teaching me where you got to put your foot on the clutch and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
that's how we did it. But
Wow.
it
Pros
got
now.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Worked out.
I love it.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the boat. And we didn't get to do much racing down in Gunnersville, Alabama. You had an awfully quick run in the qualification session. You only got to run once. And then quite an experience in that first heat, the only one we ran. I have not had the opportunity to talk to you since then. Kind of take us through that. I heard something about a very large American flag all of a sudden being in your front windshield as you were coming out of turn 2.
Yeah, I mean, I was coming out of the corner, on the outside of I think it was Andrew. Andrew's on my inside, and then, Tim Collins on the radio just says, "Watch out for Dave." And I'm like, watch out for Dave, and all of a sudden here comes God Bless America comes running through there, and the water hits and takes out the whole front of our boat. And before the boat's even slowing down, I'm radioing back, "Get out a canard, get out this, that," and Jeff Campbell's on my radio like, "Where's the canard?" I'm like, "Well,
don't know."
Yeah, he asked 3 times. He didn't get an answer because I didn't want to say it's in the lake. That was a brand new canard. It had 3/4 of a lap on it. And they're not easy to build, and it's it wasn't. It's never fun coming in after those moments, but at least we got to come in, right?
Yeah. You did.
Yeah.
That was going to be a heck of a boat race. For those of us who were fans on the shoreline, you guys were going to come off that corner 4 wide. It's too bad we didn't get to finish it.
Yeah. I mean, we would have had a lot of great racing that weekend, and we didn't get any of it in. But
saving it for this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing is, hey, we're all close on points right now.
There you go.
Real close.
So that's going to be for this later part of the season. I think it's going to make for great racing because there's no room to make up or anything like that. There was no race there. We're all within 10, 20 points of each other. So, it'll be good for the fans if we can get our boats out here on the water, and we'll see what happens here.
There's our point standings over there.
Yeah.
Second place, that looks a lot like you.
Yeah. But you know how I feel about that. So,
yes, I do know exactly how you feel about that.
Thanks for the reminder.
Place?
I really appreciate it. Thanks.
Oh, here it comes.
Great.
Brad, man, I thought I told you.
Yeah. It's too sweaty. The memo that wiped away.
Yeah. You just stepped right in that. Man.
Oh man. So talk about Madison, Indiana. We got a brand new race course here. I've asked a couple of the other guys, but how do you approach something brand new like this? Never been on it before.
Nope, never been on it. I mean, you get the course map, you look at things, and you kind of figure out what you want to do, gear ratio wise and stuff like that. And you make your best. You take your best shot at it. So. I mean, we think we're set up for it. We might have to make a change after the first time out or the second time out, but I don't know yet. I haven't been on the water. We got to watch Brandon go out there, and
still one lump there.
There's that hole's still there, So say what you want, it's not going to go away.
Yeah.
You keep saying that, but it's there every single year.
There.
So and it's fine. Everybody has to go through it. Every one of us. Every single time we go down, we have to go through it. So it's not like this person has it or that person doesn't. We all got to go through it.
They're all there. Yeah, it's there for all of you.
Yeah. But all I care about is we get some good racing out here. The fans enjoy it, and I'm excited for the parade. Our team loves the parade, so we're going to get to do that here in a minute, and it's going to be a great weekend.
Hey, before you get off the course, I just wanted to get your feedback on just not going under the bridge this year. I've seen some footage of you real close to that pylon.
Yeah. The 2022, I stood it up pretty good over there before I blew it over here. Yeah, I mean that. You never. It's people ask about the bridge and going underneath it. Yeah, it's great, but until just for instance, if when I stood it up right there and if I blew it over right there, if the boat continues straight, you're fine. But if it comes off to the right and runs into that thing,
That's right.
we all things can happen. Anything can happen. But luckily it hasn't. But if you want my opinion, leave the course at 2.5 miles. I would like that. I'll give you an honest opinion on Sunday after it.
Yeah.
But
right now that's the opinion.
Yeah, the 2.5 mile course was a great course, and it worked. Okay. We all knew what we wanted to do. You'd all get here. We'd all be set up for it, and we'd all have put on a great show. Not saying that we're not going to do that this weekend, but
throws a different loop in it.
Yeah. So I mean, it's fine. Again, everybody has to do it. So I enjoy the 2.5 mile course here, but maybe on Sunday I'm going to tell you I like the 2-mile course.
Oh,
I mean, the hole's still there, so I mean that's a lot of the people's complaint, but it'll be different.
Yeah.
Now we have a 5-minute warning in our ear. We can just keep going forever.
Oh, yeah,
just
look
what
at
you
that.
want to do.
Yeah,
The
man.
stat man gives us countdowns over here.
Oh, yeah.
You got everything going. Madison, Indiana.
Yeah.
Talk about this place and
It's-
what it means.
Man, it's cool.
Yeah.
It's a cool little town. The people are great. I like it here. You walk around town and people know who you are. That's kind of cool. And I just enjoy it. I always get good food here. Always have a good place to stay and nice people. That's really all you care about. I don't need anything special or fancy. I just want to have a good time, and I seem to have a good time every time I'm here. And my family likes it, and I got some friends here that I've made over the years that live here in town, and it's good to see them and just come and do what we do. I mean, what a cool life! I get to come and play with a boat.
Brent, before you go, Kyle Bipes was talking to us earlier, and he was inviting people to come to Madison, Indiana, and he says, I think this is the greatest spot on the circuit, and of course he's going to say that, but it is probably the most unique place that we go. And you brought up a point about the friends you've made at the various stops along the circuit over the year. It really is fun, and your teammate, JMK, was talking about the parade. You guys love the parade.
Yeah.
You guys are running around throwing candy, signing things. It's a good time.
It's what we do. It's what we come here to do. We're putting on an event. We're getting to know people. It's more than just running your boat in a circle. It's providing a service, if you will.
Magic moments.
Yeah. Kids will remember this. Adults will remember this. We remember this. So it's not just a moment in time. It's freaking cool what we get to do, and don't forget it, and don't take advantage of it. And if we have the ability to make some kids' day by throwing them a football, we're gonna make kids' day. We can't make them all.
No.
But
at least the 30 that we got in the box,
we got
right?
4,000 of them that we can make.
4,000?
Yeah,
Oh,
4,000
my
of them.
goodness.
We got a few to throw there.
Yeah. So we're gonna do our best. I love it. Everybody on our team likes it. It worked out. Easy for the teams this year that some of us didn't go in the pits because of the way the things were working out. That we're set up, we're ready to go. But that's just what it is, and hopefully tomorrow's a better day.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think one thing I was just going to share, the family environment at Strong Racing, it's really special. I got a chance to see.
I'm
Jim.
sorry, that's me.
Oh, hi, Jim Simpson.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's Jim Simpson.
Yeah.
You better answer that one.
Yeah,
we'll
you're gonna have to wait, Jim.
But I was just going to say, and that's part of that strong family is, Daryl and Vanessa, special to the sport, special to you.
Yeah.
Even thinking back to how you even got selected, it's a really cool story. I think you should share some of that.
Yeah, I mean, for that, it was just I was driving the 98 for Rob Graham, the Graham Trucking team, and Daryl and Vanessa, they're big time on entertaining. They love to entertain people and have get-togethers and people around. And one of their big things is karaoke.
Yep.
And they have full-on professional karaoke systems in Pasco, and then they have one at their house in Scottsdale. They have them everywhere because they just really enjoy it and having people over and singing and having a good time. And they threw a party every year there for a little while with just a dinner and a karaoke event, and I just sang a song and I won the competition, and that's how they learned
more
me.
Than that. There was dance moves.
Oh yeah, well, of course.
There was a lot more than
well,
that.
you got to do what you got to do to win. You're not coming there to second place.
Yeah, right.
You got to. If you can't win when you're coming in at a 7. You got to get a 10.
Yeah, it was at a 10.
You got to do more than the next guy. So we got that done, and like I tell people, you never know who's watching or never know who's paying attention. And that weekend, they learned my name, and I eventually got a phone call. So worked out really good for me. I mean,
Yes, it did.
look at what we're doing. I do this for a living now. I mean, who would have thought that 5-6 years ago?
So awesome.
And that's because of them, and one song.
Yeah.
So
What was the song? We need to know that.
I know
that one was Ice Ice Baby.
Okay.
That's what
Ice
that was.
Ice
Brooke,
Baby.
Brooke Tyler, was my crew chief on the 98, and he was like,
Okay.
"You got to do a song that everybody knows." And he picked that song, and hey, maybe I owe this to him. Maybe it is. Thanks, Brooke.
He deserves a good.
But
a good
did you
gift.
notice he said that time? Because you won it 2 in a row, right? Didn't
Yeah.
you come with La
Yeah,
Bamba the
yeah,
next year?
I did.
Okay.
I did La Bamba. I didn't win the 3rd year in a row because Jamie, Brian Haney's son.
Oh yeah,
just-
I was there for that one.
Yeah, that kid killed it.
He stole it.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't. You didn't even want to compete.
No,
'cause-
it's like you win.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
like 3 feet tall, and he just
So cute.
nailed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, nah, dude, you
Like,
win. You win.
damn, boy. You know, everybody's looking at Haney, and he's like, yeah.
Oh, well, they're
Oh,
chomping
sorry.
they're chomping in our ear here that we
Yeah.
got to disconnect. But I want to thank you for taking the time and come up and chat. And we could sit here and talk for an hour.
We sure could.
But thanks for coming up here. Enjoy Madison. Enjoy the parade, and good luck this
Yeah,
weekend.
man, we're just gonna go out and do some scooter pooting tonight in
There
town.
you
know,
go.
so, you know, have a good
I like
time.
it.
So, well, all right, Brad, we're just gonna go down.
He is Cory Peabody,
Cory,
driver of the
everybody.
U9. The Beacon Plumbing. Have a good weekend, my friend, and thanks for coming by.
That was fun.
Yep, thanks,
We're
guys.
gonna step away here for just a moment. There we go. I think we're gonna get a crane operator down to the U6. Thank you, Cory. We are all live. That's what they just
Hey.
said. Jamie Nielsen here, driver of the U11. I've been saying the same thing to everybody that comes and joins Brent and I here. Welcome to Madison, Indiana.
That's right. Welcome.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Happy to be here. So,
And isn't it great? We got three of us here from the Pacific Northwest, and we're all inviting each other and saying, welcome to Madison, Indiana. It's a fun place, though, isn't it?
yeah, but I can't tell you how many of the local people here have come up and just, said, welcome back. So happy you're back. Excited to see you guys back. And asked how I was doing, how my family's doing. So, love the fans, love the people, love the community here in Madison. And like you said, just really honestly excited to be back here.
And I'm going to just do a sidebar right here because Kyle Bipes was up here earlier, and he was saying, we want to welcome the fans to come to Madison. It's really a cool place. For you fans that are watching out there, we did not coach these guys to all come up here and say how fun it is in Madison.
Really
Everybody's been saying the same thing, but it really is true. And you're on the cusp here, heading out in the parade, and that's always fun.
Yeah, it's a special place, and like you said, you can try to explain it to people, but there's only one way to truly feel it and understand, the environment and the energy that go on here in Madison during Regatta weekend, and that's to come and be a part of it. So, like you said, we invite anyone and everyone to come to Madison, check out this regatta, and you're not going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
Nope.
Boy, I tell you, just even driving the city, there's just a feeling and an energy that's so positive, and they're all about this race and the parade and being a part of that and being a part of the race, and like you felt just the amount of love that you were getting out there. That's got to be amazing.
Yeah, and I think that's the perfect word. You said it, the energy.
Yeah.
I mean, there is an energy in the air these 3 days, and, you can feel it, and that's part of what goes into, us drivers being anxious to get out there. So, it's tough not getting to run today, but,
Sure.
Can't control the river, and
No.
can only control what you can control. So we'll keep it pent up, and we'll be ready to go come tomorrow morning.
Yeah, maybe real quick, just talk us through that. So you're going to hopefully get some good sleep tonight, and then you wake up in the morning. What's your ritual? What do you go through when you're getting ready for race day?
Yeah, getting the good night's sleep is the hard part. So,
Yeah, I know.
You got a lot of nerves, a lot of butterflies until you can actually get in the boat and get them out. So, I was hoping to be able to do that today,
Right.
but it's as far as a morning routine, you just try to keep it as normal as possible.
Okay, so no baseball rituals, no special
no,
sauce,
no,
nothing?
just like to eat something light. Got to
Okay.
keep the food light, that's for sure. But have a small cup of coffee and then start into the water bright and early to try to stay hydrated. Especially here, you got to
You gotta
stay
get ahead
ahead
of it.
on your hydration, because if you fall behind, it's
Not good.
it's not good and going to be a long weekend. So lots of water, and just try to help out the team as much as I can. Try to take some load off the crew guys, because they got just as much work as anyone else this
They do.
weekend ahead of them. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of work, but looking forward to it.
Oh, yeah.
So I want to ask the question, we've been talking to the drivers and asking them if they remember when they became qualified as an H1 Unlimited driver. We had the opportunity to watch Brandon come out here, and I think everybody, including yourself, other drivers, did you watch his 3 laps? Were you a part of that as well?
I did. So, it's I remember when I did my qualifying and my first run, a lot of the existing H1 drivers being there to shake my hand when I got out of the boat, congratulate me on my first drive. So, happy to see Brandon get the chance to get out there, get his first run under his belt, and actually heard his interview on the air. So that was fun to listen to him describe the difference of an unlimited hydroplane compared to GPs or limited boats. So yeah, I definitely remember my runs, and I actually remember this race course, this 2-mile race course was my first full weekend having a boat as a H1 driver. So I remember how rough it was, and I know what's ahead of us this weekend. So.
Yeah, it's still there.
Yeah.
It hasn't gone anywhere.
Didn't go. He was like, oh, shoot, it is still there. We all were like, darn.
Yeah, Brandon goes down there and hops in the corner just to let everybody, it's still here, guys.
Yeah.
That is very, very good. And you have a brand new sponsor this year, driving for Flav-R-Pac. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
We do, and it's both a pleasure and a real honor to represent the Flav-R-Pac, the whole family, the whole Flav-R-Pac family up there. I mean, it's thousands of employees that work for Flav-R-Pac, and to represent them and fly their colors out on the race course is, it is a real honor to say the least. And they've been great people to work with. We met Keith, the owner, at the test session there in Tri-Cities, and what a great guy. So, we're really looking forward to, both this weekend, but getting the boat there to Tri-Cities for the Gold Cup and run in front of our sponsor in their hometown. And I'm sure there's going to be a big contingent of Flav-R-Pac fans there come Tri-Cities weekend.
They will have a big hospitality area, I'm sure.
The only question I have is, are you eating your veggies? That's,
That's it.
I'm going to know. Are you
yeah.
Okay,
all
right.
That's a prerequisite to the
Absolutely.
Flav-R-Pac on
That's
the boat,
right.
So.
The entire race team is much more healthy.
Yeah.
Everybody's eating their
It's
vegetables.
good stuff, though, that's for sure.
Were you a part of the Mexican dinner last night? Were you
was
at that
not.
table that I walked over to at the Urban Sombrero on last night?
No, I was not.
Getting
I was
rest.
still en route.
Oh.
Okay.
So
When'd
we
you
didn't
get
get
in?
in till late.
Okay.
So I think we got into town about 9:30. So
Okay.
Straight to bed for me, but
Yeah, no, I
I
understand
think there's a few more of those dinners ahead for the rest of the weekend.
You're a smart man. You are a
He's
smart.
like, you all play. I got stuff to take care of. I need my beauty sleep, right? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And the boat. The boat is ready to go. Everybody's talking about the fact we ran not even one lap down in Gunnersville, but oh my goodness. Mr. Nielsen had himself a rocket ship. You were moving.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate that, for multiple reasons that heat got red flagged. But, for us, we had our boat running the best we've been running, that whole weekend, that heat. We were out front, and, it was going to be a real world test of where we're at and where all that hard work was going to pay off from this winter. And we were anxious to see if those guys were going to be able to track us down or not. And, unfortunately, didn't get that chance, but the boat's still all in one piece. It's just as good as it was going to Gunnersville, so we're excited to show what we can do here in Madison and see what we got for those guys.
Yeah. Well, I'd say you're really getting a reputation of nailing your starts. That was another good example of it. How do you go through that? And I know you work on the sim a little too, but how do you like to practice?
Oh, it's it's a challenge. It's not as easy as people.
And you're not
going
to give up any secrets. Don't worry. I know that. Yeah. He's like, no, sir.
Yeah. I don't know. I think one of the best skills to possess when it comes to starting is just the ability to improvise. So something I pride myself on is just kind of being able to improvise on the fly, which just having a general idea of a lot of different timing marks out there, not getting locked into one timing mark, one plan.
Okay.
Because as we all know, you go out there with plan A and it gets blown up and then you leave the dock. So what
does Mike Tyson say? You have a plan until you get punched in the mouth, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like, well,
Exactly.
no, that wasn't it.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of times it's a lot of just improvisation out there, but it's a lot of planning that goes into that improv.
Sure.
We go through a lot of different scenarios in the truck that kind of help give me the ability to wherever we end up out there after all the course cutting and where kind of the initial dust settles, wherever we end up, we kind of have a general idea or general plan of where we want to go from there. So you never know. It's what makes the race before the race exciting is I think a lot of guys are doing the same thing and having to improvise. Maybe one guy's on his plan and all the other guys are improvising. So
That's right.
I love the fight for lanes. I think it's a really cool aspect of the sport. I think it makes that 5-minute warm-up period exciting, and I look forward to it.
I love the fight for lanes because exactly what you just said. Our heats are so quick. We got these 3-lap heats, but suddenly that 5 minutes is really important. And to your point, you made the statement, the race before the race. And we always say when you guys leave the dock, you have no idea what lane you're going to be running in. You got an idea. But what I'm hearing you say, when I'm reading between the lines, I'm catching some optimism there. You came out of Gunnersville encouraged.
Yeah. For sure, yeah. I think the whole U11 Flav-R-Pac team, Scott and Shannon, the owners, the crew, I mean, myself as the driver, I think we all left encouraged, and it's been a long 3 weeks actually waiting to get our next shot at running against these guys. So we're excited to be here, excited to take another shot at these great boats and drivers that we're up against, and see see where all that hard work this winter is going to get us.
See how it pays off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch too, man. I know you put in the preparation, and people are going to see something. It's going to be a wild weekend.
Yeah, this team's worked really, really hard this winter, so I'm just as excited as anyone just for the crew to see their hard work pay off, and that's something I'm really looking forward to doing, is seeing the smiles on their face when we can come back with some good results.
Well said.
Be very, very good. So, want to take the opportunity to thank you for coming by and saying hello to us. I know you got a big night tonight. You got to get ready. You got some prizes and goodies for the fans out there to throw at them.
I heard a rumor of like 50 pounds of candy or something.
Nice.
Has queued up to
See the
be distributed.
Flav-R-Pac boat, yeah.
Yeah, look for the Flav-R-Pac boat coming through, because there's going to be candy flying, I think.
And I'm colorblind. We always talk, but I love the softer color of blue on the Flav-R-Pac this year. I like it. I think it looks really good.
Yeah, you know, I
don't know if it's any
obviously
faster.
I'm in the cockpit, so I don't get to see what it looks like on the water.
Looks
but,
good.
Really
I'll tell you,
good.
it looks good.
You know, when I watched back some of the live stream stuff, it was like, wow, that boat looks great on the water.
It does.
I think it turned out really good. The paint scheme that, you know, Shannon and the Flav-R-Pac guys working together that they came up with, and our media guy David Cormier, I think they did a great job designing that thing. So
It looks good.
That was one of the things I want to say before we leave, is just the social media presence that you all have been putting out. It's really clean. Love the action shots, and I see the following that you're getting from that too. It's really professional. Looks well done.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
It is good, and we need H1 as a whole, the individual teams and H1 Unlimited. Everybody's stepped up the social media side of things, and that's only good for the sport. More people, more eyes, more people seeing it. So if we can go out now and run a weekend's worth of racing and complete some heats,
That stuff will be
heck, let's start with laps. Let's
It's
go out
coming.
and
It's
let's go get a
coming.
lap in for
Yeah,
starters.
Less
But-
than 24 hours.
Absolutely.
Here we go.
So thank you very much for coming by. Appreciate it. Enjoy the parade. Have a good time.
Will do. Thanks, guys. We appreciate you having
And
me. So.
throw a lot of candy.
Will do, and we're gonna give these guys everything we got this weekend. So look for that Flav-R-Pac boat.
We like it.
We're
like it.
We're gonna give them everything we got.
He
we're
is
in for it.
Jamie Nielsen, driver of the U11, the Flav-R-Pac. He likes to get on an inside lane. That might be a good place to be here. We'll find out over the next couple of days. Thanks again for coming by.
All right.
You'll see him in the parade. They'll be there. Back here on the start-finish line tower in Madison, Indiana, it is the 75th Madison Regatta and the 73rd running of the Indiana Governor's Cup on the Ohio River. I am Brad Luce along with Brent Hall, and we are joined here on our little broadcast position by none other than Dave Vilwock, a man who needs no introduction here. Dave, first of all, welcome to Madison.
Yeah, it's fun to get here. It's such a great community.
And you've had some good success on this river. You know what it takes to win here.
Yeah, you have to survive.
Survive Madison.
If you make it
river.
to the end, you're doing good.
Okay.
So, and that's what we were out running some things, and luckily I think I didn't see much debris in the water, so that was good. We'll tweak the course a little bit to make it a little more round. Hopefully.
Okay.
So
that's my first question is we've run the 2-mile course here before, but not this one.
Yeah, and I'm not sure. Yeah, it's supposed to be a 2-mile course, and it just seems like it's condensed a little.
A little short.
So we'll see.
And then you are out on that course in a boat you've never been in before. How's Sharky?
The boat's doing good. I didn't actually have to do a bunch of driving. It was, pretty much ran itself. So we were just trying to get a motor so it'd get close in the fuel and stuff like that. But then we only got so much time here. Got to go to the parade and stuff. So we just packed her up.
Packed it up, and then you get to go out and have fun with the fans tonight.
Yes.
You got goodies to throw? You got
Somebody
stuff?
does.
Somebody does. Yeah.
Somebody does.
We'll figure
Oh,
it
that
out.
wasn't your responsibility to get the
No,
sack of
not
bubble
this
gum
week.
or whatever.
That's right.
Yeah. So actually, when we were watching you, I was just thinking, boy, you raced a lot against that boat. Now you're in it.
Yeah.
Sharky as the Oberto. Just thoughts being in that boat and being on the other side.
It's what I'd expect out of it.
Okay.
We weren't. We could do some things to make it faster if we want to.
Sure.
And so we're just trying to. That was a motor that we haven't run.
Okay.
It would give us trouble in Gunnersville, and so we changed some stuff on it.
Sure.
So we had to get that run, make sure it's running within limits and all of that stuff, and make all the lights and whiz bangs and whistles work. It hasn't been run for a couple of years, and so they did a good job of just making everything work. There's 1,000 things to go wrong. Like a good friend of mine said, if his one thing goes wrong every time, he'll never ever run a lap.
Well.
Whiz bangs and whistles. I remember you describing an appendage on a bright orange boat to me one time, and you used those terms, whiz bangs and whistles. Now I hear it again. Madison, Indiana is a community and this event. You've been to so many venues. You've been to so many races. Talk a little bit about what it means to this community, and then to see their boat get out here this afternoon. That was a big deal.
Yeah, that's great that they could get that boat running. And, it's an old Budweiser boat that I won a lot of races in. I forget what it was. Before Elstrom, I think it held the record for how many races that had been won with it.
It did.
Some time ago, and I think we eclipsed that with Eric's boat.
Yeah.
You did.
We were talking about
some
that.
years later, and so it's a good boat, and it's good to see. It's a great bunch of guys, and they've come together, and hopefully they can work a deal out with Dave to buy that, and it'll be home here.
And continue that 64-year legacy of having a Miss Madison.
Yes.
Yeah.
It really is. It's a part of the history of the sport, and that was really a cool moment when everybody was standing up here, and all the other race teams and you guys as fellow drivers, everybody was watching, rooting for Brandon.
Yeah, and that's great. Like I said, they had so much trouble in Gunnersville and blew up a whole bunch of stuff there and everything else. And so it was good to see them have a little success for a change.
Yeah, so maybe talk us through your plans for the weekend. Obviously, new boat, not the one that you're used to. How do you approach the weekend?
Well, like you approach every Madison weekend, like Detroit's the same. You try to figure out how to survive there long enough.
Yeah.
And you'll likely be there at the end if you don't wreck something in between.
Sure.
And so just try to stay away from bad situations
A little bit defensive just to make sure.
go from there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's always that way here. The people that overextend, they usually run through some wave or something, and just things go bad in a hurry.
change the subject just a little bit. Dave, you've won so much, winningest driver in the sport and all these gold cups and all that good stuff. You had a terrific career. What drives Dave Vilwock to stay at this?
Well, I've tried to give back some over the last years where, since the Budweiser and then the Elam years, and that was a good bunch of people too there that we won a lot of races with. And then what I've tried to do is over the last about 10 years is just try to help the Schumachers get their boat up.
Yeah.
Some of the people that had a boat that was the 150 something mile an hour boat and got it to run 160 something, and so they're in the game, and then they can take it from there and do what they want. And I could see that Charlie Wiggins, he's a good friend of mine, had built some propellers for him and stuff, had known him over the years, and I could tell that new boat just wasn't going to get done. And I don't fault him for that. It's just something that I don't care who you are. You try to build a project that large virtually by yourself or with a couple of guys in the shop on their spare time. After a while, you just lose energy.
Right.
And so I knew if it was ever going to make it to the water, somebody needed to go help push the bus over the top of the hill, and so we did that, and then the relationship that led to the relationship with Bruce at Ratchford and his family and those companies and then with as well as the Goodman people. So it just grew into something that, where it started out just trying to do something. And then Bruce asked me when he was thinking about all of that stuff over the winter, he says, I just want to know, will you help me? And I said, and the answer is, yeah, he's a friend of mine. I'm going to help you no matter what you decided to do. I didn't know what boats he was going to buy or not buy, or didn't know what was for sale really, and all of that. But it was just the first answer, which he wanted, was, would I help him? And the answer was, yeah, he's a friend of mine. I'm going to help him. And so that's led to this, and for the overall sport, that's a good thing, I think.
My perspective on start-finish line in Guntersville, we're going to have to go back to that lap for just a moment, that which we have done so far this year. Your boat was flying, and I'm not talking about the high wire rack. That run down the back chute, that thing was really moving.
Yeah, it was going fast. I mean, the boat was doing everything we wanted it to. So it just ran into a few waves that couldn't get over, and they happened to be spaced. Much like in my accident that I hurt my hand in 1997. You hit one wave, and it recovers from that. When it hits another one in succession, then it can't handle that, especially in those course quarters. The one in Pasco in 97, there wasn't anything in the way. It just hit two in the same and then got upside down. Where this one wasn't really a blowover. It was just hit one, it hit the second one and got the skid fin loose, and then it moved in to the rooster tail water, and then that was that. And luckily it was a nice soft landing. It didn't hurt the boat much or me or anything. So
that was one of the things I asked you. Was like, hey, you doing okay? And he's like, yeah, no, it was a soft landing. I was like, soft landing? That didn't look soft. But
it looks soft to me either.
But what I did notice, like you said, in the drone footage, you could definitely see the rollers coming through. They were coming through the infield, and then they just hit lane one as you were coming in, and then you hit it. And you could see you were trying to save it, but then the other rooster tail knocked your canard off, and then it was all over.
Yeah, there's nothing. You're going to go for a ride in those deals.
Boy, it took a while. It was so long, too. I was like, oh, no.
Yeah. About halfway through, I thought you were still going to land it.
Yeah.
I thought he might pull this off.
We were sitting next to each other just like I
thought for a minute. How is the boat? What's the progress on the boat that's back in Tukwila?
The structure is fixed. We haven't glued the deck on yet, but the deck's made. And so when we get back, we just got to glue the deck on and glass it together and paint it, and that's that.
So we should see in the Tri-Cities.
In the Tri-Cities, yeah.
Very, very good.
Yeah, and part of our goal was, as an organization, we felt that we needed to get the old boat 100%. It was like 90%, but if we had to run it in a couple of days, there'd be trouble.
Yeah.
And so we put everything together, and we outfitted everything so either Andrew or myself could drive it with just like an hour or two of changes of just some of the foot controls and stuff.
Right.
So that stuff bolts in an hour or two, and you're ready to go. And so and there's a thousand other things of wiring and, all the rest of the stuff that's been sitting dormant for a while. You have to make all that stuff work again.
Right.
And so as an organization, we thought it had a lot of value to put the energy into, although we could have fixed the other boat easily, but then we still didn't have the old boat at 100%. So we thought, let's just do both. And then we'll come back here with the old one. We'll run it, and it'll be a player, and then we'll get the new boat together for Tri-Cities.
All based on you getting this one out of here all in one piece, and then you'll have them both ready to roll.
We'll try.
That's the plan, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, you touched on it a little bit earlier, but Bruce Ratchford heard great things. Tell us, what kind of owner is he?
He's a guy that's he's about the people, and that's what he follows that. One of the things that I was in the same business that he's in, in specialty sheet metal work and food grade work and stuff like that. I did that for a living for like 14 years.
Yeah.
And so that business was very dependent upon keeping the tribal knowledge. It was a very difficult thing to do, and that you had to do things perfectly in order to, he also does a lot of nuclear work, and so you have to. The welds have to be perfect. The metal has to be perfect. Everything. There's no margin for error, and the only way to do that's with great people.
Okay.
And so you keep those people, and you keep them close around, and you try to take care of them as best you can, and that's the secret to holding one of those businesses together. Oddly enough, it's the same thing that holds a good unlimited team together, is trying to get a talent base that can work together and keep them around.
Yeah, you don't have to spend too much time with Bruce, and you realize that slogan that sits on the side of the boat. What is it? Building people who build great things.
Yeah.
He lives that.
He does.
And you talk to him for a half an hour, and it really comes through. And I'm impressed with the guy, and he's good for H1 Unlimited.
Yeah, and that's. And like I say, that's why I became friends with him. When I was working on Wiggins' boat, I'd be there on a Sunday at 10 o'clock, and he'd call up and say, "How you doing?"
Like, fine.
And I says, "Yeah, I'm building this little part or that little part," and I'd send him a picture, and he'd enjoy that, and that grew into a friendship. And like I said, then when he asked, "Hey, would you help me?" Well, the answer had to be yes, of course.
Sure,
of course.
He didn't have to twist your arm too hard, though, did he?
No, he didn't.
You still having fun with this?
I am having fun with that. Like I said, that's what we did today. We could have went out and thrown some things at it here, but we wanted to have some fun at it, right? Yeah. So, we could go press hard. We wanted to go make sure that the boat ran, that it started, that we could get it out on the course. And I don't care who you are. A lot of time, all that goes bad. Like I remember Eric Elstrom one time, we were going to Seattle to test. You roll in there in the morning. He goes, Eric says, I don't even know why we're really here. And I says, I do, Eric. You know why we're here? We're here to make sure that the air system works, that the scrape hatch doesn't leak, and the radios work. And can we make it start?
Yeah.
The simple things, huh? Yeah.
And so he goes, yeah, I think we got that all covered. Well, we put the boat in the water. First thing that happens is the escape hatch leaks. So I pull the boat back out of the water, and we fix that. Then we put it back in, and I get in, and we hook up the air. Well, then the air pops off. The O-ring pops off the air in the air system, And we fix that. And then the next thing, the radio doesn't work, and I go get my radios and put it in there because the radios had some problems. And he goes, I see what you mean.
I see what you mean.
I said, there's a lot of things that go wrong, or the simplest things that normally go along every day, but when they haven't been used for a year, stuff like that. When you go test, that's what your numbers are. I'm trying to hit the starter button and make it start. I don't want to make it steer. I want to make the motor start and run. I want to keep the water on the water side.
That's right.
Keep the boat right side up. If we do that, it's a plus. We've made it.
It's the old line from the Madison movie when they put the boat on and they said it floats. There's some truth to that. Let's start there.
Yeah.
A boat's always trying to destroy itself and trying to sink. Every life of every boat in the world is its job is to try to sink every day, and we're trying to keep it on top of the water, make it float for a while.
Well said.
Oh, gosh.
And somebody, I think Dale Van Warrington said, you know what the fun part of unlimited racing is? It's the time between when you cross the finish line and you've won the race till it gets back to the dock. Everything else is work.
No, that's true.
I got to think one of the things that you are looking forward to, I mean, if you get another win, you've had so many, but getting one for Bruce, that would have to be something really special.
Yeah, I thought, and that's the only thing disappointing about Gunnersville not running the race and everything else. We had all the things headed in the right direction,
right?
You know, and so, you know, and like I say, we're here with the old boat, but you know, he's won a lot of races here, and I've told a lot of people, you know, the story about when we won in 1989. The story that when we won the race with Chip driving in the circus boat.
You and I had that conversation.
Yeah.
I like that race.
I've watched it on TV.
Yeah, you know, and we go through. I mean, you think about what our month will look like before that. We're faster than everybody. We had the field covered by miles per hour, and we're looking proud. You know, we got this thing figured out. We think, you know, and well, Chip ends up crashing the boat in Syracuse. So he crashes the boat, and it's in parts and pieces. And we get back to the shop, and we start looking at it. We go, you know, we could fix this thing if we saw it apart here, you know. So we start onto that. Meanwhile, we got to run this old boat, much like we're doing here. And we put it all together. Well, that old boat hadn't run that fast before. You know, we put a lot of new things in it that it hadn't seen in a while. And so we go out to Tri-Cities, and he makes like a 3/4 of a lap, and he tears the rudder off of it, and the boat about swap ends, and it gets and so we're going, this is bad. So I fly to Seattle, I get parts, I come back, and we spend all night fixing it, and we put it back in the water. He runs it another half a lap and tears the rudder off again.
Oh, jeez.
Then, you know, we go, okay, well, that's not so good. So we go back to Seattle. You know, we had to take the loss there and lick our wounds. We go back to Seattle, and we go, okay, we're building a bridge inside of this next time. This isn't falling off again.
That's right.
And so we do all that, and I'm finishing a new propeller, and I'm running around town while they're getting ready to test. And Walters asked me, he says, what do you want to do? And I said, well, just run the boat. And he runs the boat. He comes back. He says, bad news. We broke a shaft and blew up a motor. And I says, why did I know? You know, and so I get the propeller, I get back, we put another engine in, and we go out, and Budweiser had run like 158 miles an hour or something. They were really fast. And we go out, we run our boat, and it runs 145. But it was in the afternoon where there was rough water. And so I says, you know what we're going to do? We know we're not going to go that fast, but we also know Seattle's going to be rough. Yep. So we're going to throw this thing out here. We're going to run this boat 4 or 5 times in the roughest possible water we can find. And we're going to hurl this thing at the course. And I said, if we can run a $140 here, when they win the race here, you're winning at 138 to 140 miles an hour. And if we run a $140, we got everybody covered, and we ran 144. We think we're good. We go about the next way, and we pass Budweiser on the outside and make it look like they're fast. And we go, we're in this thing. Let's go. You know? But it's that refuse to lose attitude. You know, and sometimes you keep your head in the game, let things come to you. Don't let things overcome you, and good things will happen.
Good things will happen.
Yep.
Appreciate you taking the time. I know you waited around here for a while. Thanks for coming up and chatting with us. It's time to now go jump on a boat and go throw goodies.
We'll go throw some goodies. Go see if we can hitch a ride to the parade.
There you go.
Okay, well, good seeing you guys.
It's always good to see you. Have good luck this weekend. Have fun.
We need to have some fun and have a little luck.
There you go.
I always said I'd much rather be lucky than good.
Absolutely.
There it
well,
is.
work hard because you get good luck doing that, as you always say. So he is Dave Vilwock. He drives the U27, the Miss Apollo. Not driving his number 1 boat, but he's driving a boat that's done very well on this river before. Never count this guy out. Dave, thank you.
What an honor.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll step away, let Dave get out of here. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Dave.
We'll step away here for a moment. Back here on the start-finish line tower, Brad Luce, along with Brent Hall, joined now by Tanner Faust.
Howdy,
Tanner!
gentlemen.
Yeah, nice
How you guys doing? You guys doing good?
No,
Doing good?
we're doing just fine. We're just getting the day started, right?
I love it. My gosh, it is gorgeous here, actually. You know, I've never been to this part of the country.
Okay.
It is spectacular. Southern tip of Indiana, Ohio River, separate. I assume that's Kentucky over there.
That would be Milton, Kentucky.
I mean, we are in the heart of it for the 4th of July, which is just awesome.
And your education will begin very quick. That is the Milton-Madison Bridge.
Yes,
in
wonderful.
the proper order, not the other way around. It is the Milton.
Would never
Madison.
mistake that.
You would not. You don't want to make that mistake. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
We've been saying that to everybody that comes up here. We
Yeah,
welcome them.
absolutely.
And we finally have somebody who's not from where you and I are, and we can actually welcome somebody to Madison, Indiana.
But I still think the heat difference might affect him just as much as it does us.
It might just do that.
I can hear the sweat dripping off my legs right now. If that's what you're talking, I don't know if that's what
exactly,
you're talking
you got
Okay.
it. Yeah,
Pretty much, and it only gets worse.
Yeah,
So,
hey,
hey,
here we go.
Yeah, it's really well. We had quite a day here today. I don't know if you've had an opportunity to really look there, but our river level is up, and we've had really good weather the last 4, 5, 6 days here. But it's been further up to the north and the northeast. They had a lot of rain up there, thunderstorms, and you know the water rolls downhill. I don't know if you knew that, but that's the way it works here.
Yeah.
And so
it looks like a big river. So if this is
It
high
is.
level,
It's high.
Then I'm believing it. So, and I assume the problem with that is it affects the pits because
it really condenses the pits. That's a big
Yeah.
deal, and they've got 5 classes of boats we're trying to do, so there's a ton of hardware that they want to put in here. That's one problem. The other is when the river comes up, it goes up on the shore, and you see those big logs laying down there. It picks all those things up, and it sticks them out in the middle of the river, and so there's been a lot of debris coming down. And they will have boats up at the top end of the course that will be hopefully catching that stuff. They'll have nets up there trying to scoop it. And it's not the ones you can see on the water. It's the ones that are about a foot under.
My gosh, what does that do for your confidence ripping around? I mean,
190 miles an hour and tunk. That's not a good thing.
Yeah, you don't want to lose a blade off a propeller at that speed. So, but we did get some fun today. We got a couple of boats backed into the pit area. The Madison came down. Mr. Vilwock's backup U27 Apollo came down, and of course,
back together.
The Madison was the big story because we saw the boat in Madison. It got to the start-finish line. That was it. Brandon Kennedy got it out here on home waters with all the fans here, and it was a great moment. I don't know if you were around, but they got the boat out here, and he put 3 laps on the clock, and then he hit a hole down there and knocked the cowling loose. But
now, what does that mean? He hit he hit just a dip in the water.
He said he hit his own wake.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and you just saw him pop up pretty hard and
Okay.
knock the cowling loose, so he had to come back in. But some decent laps. I mean, he had a couple of 132s, 134s. Yeah.
I
couple
did see
134s.
him out there from my hotel room.
Attaboy.
And I was like, oh, wait a minute. They said that this wasn't going to happen today. And,
did.
so that's why I came running
nice
down
surprise.
Was that an air-conditioned hotel room?
It was chilly. Actually, I had to warm it up a little bit in there.
Don't rub it in.
No,
Yeah, that's about far enough, Faust. Okay.
You walked into that. He was like,
yeah. I still am a little cold from that.
Oh,
bit
rub
chilly,
it in,
bit
rub it
chilly.
in.
But it was really good because everybody knows Brandon Kennedy can do this. This is not a problem, him getting qualified. And the boat's a very famous hull. So it's just a matter of the boat hasn't run since 2012 and the problems they had in Alabama. And I think they're pulling out of here and going for the parade knowing, okay, we got this. If we can just get the boat on the water, it'll run and we can get both the boat and Brandon qualified. So that was really good. The fans just ate it up, as you might imagine.
I'm sure even the competitors want him to get
Oh, yeah.
qualified, right? So will they let him just fill that thing up and just do 10 straight laps? How long can it go on a tank?
He's not going to get 10 laps out of it. In fact, he's not going to get 10 laps, I don't think.
Okay.
It'd be a push.
So
he
he could go out and just do a couple long
Maybe they
sessions.
were talking like 7 and 8 the first time when they were thinking about what the split would be. Now he's got 3 in, so hopefully that 7 or 8 might be the sweet spot.
And honestly, Tanner, I think what you will see is he doesn't have to run those during a qualifying session when he's out there by himself, although qualifying does count. And, of course, he can only run 3 laps then during his qualification effort. But those laps can be in testing. So, and I think what you will see with all the boats in the pits, if they put that thing in the water, I think you'll see the other boats yield to him
Yeah.
and let him have the water to himself and get the laps. Everybody wants him in. And nobody more so than everybody up and down the beach, the 13,000 owners.
It was loud.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
It was real. It was a very special moment.
That is awesome.
It was very good. And
I'll be looking out the window tomorrow, my freezing hotel room, and I'll be, the weather will be critical, right?
Yeah.
At that moment, it'll be like Coming to America when he gets woken up there, and they just just standing there in front of this palatial glass window looking over the river.
We do have a nice view.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's great. And so I will be hoping for perfect water conditions and perfect sky conditions, a little bit lower river.
Yeah.
And how early do you think he's going to get out on the water? Will they start early for him?
Don't know.
I looked out my window, and there's a gas station out my window.
Also important.
Yeah. You do need gas, Brad.
If I need fuel, it's right across the street.
Good
you
to
guys
know.
There's a nice look at the river, nice chilly room. Okay.
No, but if we need to know the gas prices, we'll give you. Send
You
a
don't need.
text.
I'll be your gas buddy.
There
You
you
just
go.
give me a ring.
You're always looking out for us, man. I just appreciate that.
I know. All right. On a serious note, what was your question? I wasn't even listening.
What time we getting started tomorrow?
We don't know, and that's a good point. Brought it right up. Fans, pay attention to the H1 Unlimited Facebook page and the H1 website. We will post a schedule as soon as we have one. They have not yet come up with it. It's going to be busy because we were supposed to take care of testing and qualifying today. That didn't happen. So fans that are here in Madison, Indiana, you're probably not because you're up on the parade route. Be down here early tomorrow because it's going to start quick and it's going to happen fast. There should be a lot of activity. It'll be good.
I heard the live announcer guys say one was going to be here at 7, the other one figured about 8 o'clock.
Okay.
I know the schedule shows 9.
Yeah.
But
yeah, the schedule's out the window, so they will be
Fair
meeting
enough.
tonight and pulling that together. But it's going to be a big day. Brent will be here. Tanner will be here. So will I. We hope you will be here to join us as well. We're going to get started early. I'm going to bet 8 o'clock this course is open. Don't quote me. Don't take me to task on that one, but I wouldn't at all be surprised to see 8 o'clock have boats on the water. And if that's our test session, I think you're going to see 5 Unlimiteds hanging over the water. They'll be ready to go, and that U6 Miss Madison's going to be one of them.
You bet it.
Beautiful. Ready for it.
And now we just need some laps. He's got, what has he got? He's got 12 more laps to do.
He's got 12 more.
8 of which have to be north of $130.
You got it.
He clearly can do it. The last lap was very slow, but that was because he popped the cowling down there, and they
Still
just said,
counts.
Yep, he did come all the way around. We thought maybe he'd come off the corner and just pull it into the pit area here, but no, he went ahead and cross-start finish to count the full lap, then shut it off and drifted way down the river.
Smart guy.
Smart guy. Nobody said he was, not on top of his game. So that'll be a big story tomorrow, but also the big story, I think, and I want to get both of you to weigh in on this.
Sure.
We're at stop number 2 on the H1 Unlimited
Yes, we
Tour
are.
here for 2025, but in a lot of ways it feels like stop number 1. We didn't get much done down in Gunnersville.
No. 100 points total. That's the max that someone got. So, yeah, there's still a lot of points to be had.
I did see boats on the water today, and nobody was upside down. So this is the first for me.
Hey.
This is the first day I've been to the water without seeing somebody go over. So we're going in the right direction.
we are improving.
Yes, we are.
That is good. Fans, right there. So the jinx is off. It's all good. But it is going to be a good day tomorrow. It's going to be a big day. The weather is supposed to be perfect.
Yeah, great.
And we can handle the heat. We can handle the humidity. That's fine. The water conditions all day today were like this. They were just beautiful. It was just the height of the river. So it's supposed to go down tonight. So every half a foot it goes down, it gains, another 18 inches in pit space.
That's right. Well, Brad, before you close this out, just want to say thanks to the fans for the grace. I know when the weather and the water levels come in, it's like, oh, my gosh, I wanted to see some racing. And trust me, we all do too, but we got to make sure our drivers are safe. We got to make sure we do it in the right way. And so really looking forward to tomorrow and bringing extra grid racing for everyone tomorrow.
Very, very good. Any closing comments, Mr. Faust?
No, I'm just excited to see some racing and even closer to the action,
isn't it?
At this course.
Yeah.
I don't want to bring up the hotel room again, but when I did look out the window, I saw the buoys are just right there.
Yeah.
I was like, there's no way that's the race course. But so what a show this is going to be. And I've got to say, for the fans that are actually here, all day long. They've been cranking. I've been through between the hotel room and here. There's quite a food court going
There's
on
some
there.
Good food,
Yeah,
burnt ends. Oh my God!
And it's packed. Everybody's hanging out, whether there's racing or not. It's a big time. You know, it is 4th of July. It's a holiday weekend. Everybody's loving life out here. So I'm so excited to be here in Indiana, and especially with you guys.
Brad's still kind of glaring though. He's glaring about the hotel. I see it.
I know. You start talking about the buoys. I can see it right out my window. I'm thinking I can see the gas pumps outside mine.
How'd it smell?
I can read the price on the gas pumps from across the street. That's exactly right, Statman. Good idea. But this is actually the example we use, that when we bring unlimited hydroplane racing to your city and your town and your community, it's more than just a race.
You bet it is.
And no place embodies that more than this. We got the fireworks show tomorrow night. We had the water ball fight up on the street a couple of nights ago where the fire departments go at it. Tonight's is a slice of Americana up here.
It's awesome.
The parade, it is a big deal. And then tomorrow, we put H1 Unlimited hydroplanes on the water along with our Grand Prix boats and 3 other classes. Going to be a lot of activity all day long. Get here early. We will post on our website and our Facebook page when we will go live, but we will have it all covered for you tomorrow morning as soon as it happens here on the Ohio River from Madison, Indiana. It's the 75th Madison Regatta, the race for the Indiana Governor's Cup. For Brent Hall, Tanner Foust, I'm Brad Lou saying so long from Madison, Indiana.
Don't miss it.